Together, we made it through the gothic horror and crippling depression of that one fireplace scene in Koudelka. We held strong and weathered the wiener monsters and sorrow of Shadowhearts. It's time for us to continue the story with Shadowhearts Covenant. This one kind of takes a bit of a different direction.
In the name of truth, these muscles. In the name of beauty, this butt.
Bacon jet lift off!
Bacon jet? That is one giant pussy.
You see, apparently the developers got a lot of feedback from Shadowhearts 1 where players found the tone of the game to be too bleak and disturbing. Yeah, mostly because of stuff like that. Here's a scale. On the right, we have the horror and tone of Koudelka. Covenant is way over there on the comedy side. Now, you'd probably think Shadowhearts 1 would be somewhere in the middle since it has a combination of both things, but in comparison to the absolutely unhinged madness that is Covenant, it's really somewhere more over here. That's right, this one is going to triple the fuck down on being deeply unserious, but it's also going to hurt your feelings. 1 minute you're helping a ghost wipe its ass. Yeah, I'm not kidding, that really happens. The next moment, you're ugly crying over a genuinely depressing and heartfelt scene. This game will rely heavily on the plot of the previous game, Shadowhearts, and it will pick up right where the bad ending leaves off. I do have videos on the previous games as well, by the way. Also, sorry about the length at which it has taken me to upload this video. Mama's gotta work a lot to keep the internet on. Also, have you looked at the timestamps? This video is over 3 hours long. What the hell is wrong with me? Also, we've got a sponsor today. It's me. Check out my Ko-fi link below to send a little tip or become a monthly supporter if you like the channel. And if you want to leave a comment, I love reading them and it really helps out. Thanks for coming along with me on another adventure. We'll take a look at this game's narrative and discuss its themes of grief, loss, and depression while also having a laugh at its bizarre humor. With that said, buckle in and let's get ready to go on yet another adventure together as we check out Shadowhearts Covenant. The game opens up to a bunch of German soldiers storming a church. They lookin' pretty gangster right up until they start hearing this shit outside. That lady there is our new protagonist, Lieutenant Karen Koenig. This church swarming with Germans is located in a small French village. Why is a French church full of Germans, you might ask? If you recall, the previous game ended with World War I starting. We are now a few months into the war, tensions are high, Germany hates France, and this monster appears to hate Germans. I just can't shake the feeling I've seen this guy somewhere before. Also, he's kind of caked up, isn't he? Rest in peace, Karen Koenig. You may not have been a protagonist long, but you won the hearts of all of us. Kinda wild that they put someone that dies in the intro cutscene on the cover of the game. That's nuts. Just kidding.
As much as I can remember.
Wait a minute, I knew that monster looked familiar. It has to be Yuri. How How many demons turn into brunette guys? Anyway, Karen tells her superior what happened at the church. Only she and a small handful of other soldiers survived. The general makes it very clear that the village is of no strategic value to him, but that Karen must go back and do something about the demon, as he will not allow anyone or anything to stand against Germany. He has arranged for an exorcist from the Vatican to aid her. This guy is a charming little cutie named Nikolai Conrad. Fun fact, I was 13 years old when this game came out and I heard about it on X-Play. I had a big fat crush on this guy, which is extremely embarrassing replaying this as an adult because he kind of sucks. Ladies, if you were also weak to the 90s middle part hair, can I get an amen? Before Nikolai can go back to the village, he needs Karen's help. He takes her to a tower in the Vatican and says that he must retrieve a holy item to help with the demon's exorcism. Turns out the tower is a little spooky.
For many, many years, dangerous heretics and others like them were kept imprisoned there. It's filled with the spirits of those who went mad from the torture. That's why it's a safe resting place for the item that I seek.
But why am I coming?
Well, to get to the top of the tower, I need your help. I'll feel much safer if you're with me.
Alright, it's time. Here we're going to see our first glimpse of this game's combat. For the most part, it's pretty similar to the combat in Shadowhearts 1. You pick an action, and then time strikes on the judgment ring to see how well you perform. You can edit these rings in a huge variety of ways, and as a general rule of thumb, more risk equals more reward. The most notable change here is the addition of a combo system. You can link attacks with other party members to form chains that give bonus damage when pulled off successfully. Combos are pretty fun when you pull them off, they are less fun when enemies pull them off.
Those were easier than most. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
I'd like to take this opportunity to point out that sometimes the dialogue in this game is kinda weird, like...
I knew it.
What is it?
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna start doing that. Imagine proclaiming, I knew it! And then the second someone's interested in what you're about to say, just be like, but I don't know what it is.
But when I met that demon in Dom Remy, I didn't sense the malevolence that I feel from the people in this tower.
Huh. Could it have been because you were so afraid then?
That may be part of it, but he was beautiful.
Interesting word to use.
Also, he seemed sad.
It's pretty evident that Nikolai, the exorcist, is not particularly thrilled about our girl Karen having the hots for a giant bootylicious demon. Next, we bump into this cryptic little fella here. He says, I am the ring soul, the will of the judgment ring, the administrator of all fate. The world drowns in its history, and in this time you must carry the burden of fate. Apparently he wants to bestow power on Karen to help her carve her way through destiny. He gives her a pretty cool item that helps make the judgment ring more powerful. Ring Soul is a recurring character, and we will definitely be seeing him again. Imagine for a moment that you are Karen. Some guy takes you to a tower and tells you that you're his bodyguard. It's up to you to keep him safe as he acquires an item. He info dumps like 13 separate times and gives you the full lore and history of the tower. However, he somehow manages to fail to mention the gargantuan, horrifying, powerful creature that guards said item until you're 3 feet away from it. First boss time. Hey, wait a minute, this thing is called Gargoyle. We've seen one of those in this series before, but he ain't as hot as the one from Kodelka, I can tell you that for free. Anyway, now the holy item is ripe for the picking.
Is that it?
Yes. The ultimate tool for exorcising demons.
Wait, hold on, did you guys catch that? Karen's legs are just clipping through the floor. With that, it's back to Dom Remy. Here Nikolai assures Karen that he's made all of the necessary preparations to take on the demon, and they head off to storm the church again. Along the way, you'll face such threatening creatures as possessed evil duckies? Despite such tribulations, they make it back into the church.
Stop! It's dangerous to leave now.
But why?
What do you mean it's dangerous? I only heard 50 gunshots.
he has come. Show your true self, demon of Domremy.
Oh no, he's hot.
I've been wanting to meet you, God Slayer.
All those dead soldiers outside. Are you the one who killed them?
That's right. You see, I don't want any witnesses to what is about to happen here.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely Yuri. I knew we'd seen that big demon before. He demands that Karen be handed over to him.
Come and take her. If you can.
Damn, my man really said.
If you want him, come and claim him.
This goober named Lenny pops in and he's holding a little girl from the village hostage. Her name is Jean. Lenny threatens to kill the girl if Yuri doesn't start cooperating. Nikolai explains that he's been wanting to fight Yuri because he was ordered by the Lord to destroy a traitor named Albert Simon. You know, the guy with the top hat that Yuri killed in the previous game. Nikolai apparently belongs to a group that had major beef with Albert, and now they have beef with Yuri for, quote, stealing their prey.
We are Sapientes Gladio. We alone possess the light of new hope to guide us through the 20th century.
Never heard of you.
That's fine. Once we destroy you, God Slayer, the world will learn our name. Your life will be our ticket to renown.
Huh?
And your soul will be brought back into God's grace by the power of the holy mistletoe.
Nikolai!
Holy mistletoe. He says that like that's supposed to sound threatening. Begone, foul demon, lest I dangle mine holy mistletoe above thine head and give you a little Christmas smooch. Hey, I mean, if that's the job description, sign me up. Oh, oops, I got a little bit distracted there. There's actually something much more important going on. Karen just pointed the business end of her gun at Nikolai. He's kind of mad because he likes Karen and laments that she would have been a good ally had she not just turned on him. Things escalate.
What the hell?
What the hell is this?
Nikolai stabs Yuri with the mistletoe instead of smooching him under it. It wasn't really... Look, what do you want from me? How was I supposed to see that coming? I've never seen mistletoe used for violence before. With the powerful Christmas plant lodged firmly in his chest, Yuri has a flashback. We see him sitting at a campfire. Accompanying him is the girl he was protecting, a white wolf, and an old man that really likes his alcohol.
Shouldn't you be turning in soon?
After I have a few more drinks.
Let me see that.
Huh? Just a little sip. Hey, give me that back. Oh.
The little girl goes to bed and we get a flashback within a flashback. We see Yuri and the old man standing in the rain near a grave. The old man says that the army is going to keep coming back to the village and that it might be time to look for somewhere safer. Yuri refuses. It is implied that he won't move on because of the grave that we saw. Our first glimpse of this story getting really depressing.
That's why I'm staying right here. I'll protect this village until I die.
What's with you, huh? Sounds to me like You're just looking for a place to die.
Well, you're wrong. I don't plan on throwing my life away, old-timer, if that's what you're thinking.
Is that so?
Besides, my life isn't my own anyway. This life of mine was given to me by her.
Yuri's flashback turns into a nightmare and he suddenly wakes up. He quickly realizes that he's no longer in the church. He's in a cave with the old man, the dog, and Karen. The man explains that the village was unfortunately wiped out while Yuri was unconscious. Yuri apparently barely survived the mistletoe stabbing and isn't doing so well. Are you ready for the reveal of the old man's name? Because I don't know if you are.
I'm Geppetto, the puppeteer. This here is Yuri.
Yep, that's Geppetto. You know, like Geppetto. Now, as we know in this series, they like to base characters on historic figures, and to answer your question, no, Geppetto was not a real person. He was, however, based on a real person, and that person had a much less creepy profession than puppeteer. He was a coffin maker. With Nikolai and the entire German army pissed off at them, Geppetto suggests that they get out of town and head for Paris. He also explains to us one more game mechanic: crests. These are equipable spells. Crests and enemies have different elements. Light attacks beat dark, water beats fire, so on and so forth. Yuri is one of the characters that cannot use this magic. You'd think it's because of the mistletoe or maybe even because of his fusion forms, but nope. It's because he's too stupid to remember spells. This is extra funny when you consider that the dog can use them. That holy mistletoe's got our boy Yuri all kinds of fucked up. It's severely weakened him, and it's also attracting monsters. After a fight with one of these monsters, he drops to the ground and wakes up in the graveyard of his soul, and it looks a little different this time around.
Huh? What the? That's me growing there. Hey, hold on a minute. What the hell does this mean? What's going on here? Are you alive? Are you? This is bad. I'm starting to feel sick. What do I do now? I can't do soul fusion anymore either.
So yeah, basically the mistletoe nerfed Yuri narratively so that he wouldn't be super overpowered with everything you had to grind out in the previous game. This means we need to collect his fusion forms all over again. However, these all have different designs and they're pretty cool, so it's a non-issue. Karen and Geppetto have a little chit-chat while Yuri is off gallivanting around in his soul graveyard. She asks him if he's even a human at all, what with all the shenanigans going on, to which he replies, yes, he's a human, he's just a weird one.
Have you been with him for long?
Well, over half a year now, as near as I can recall. He suddenly appeared one day, along with my late wife's niece.
Your wife's niece?
She was more like my own daughter, but unfortunately she was already dead when he arrived. She and Yuri were lovers. He dug her grave with his own hands. We've both lost people in our lives. We just try to live as best we can.
With his own hands. Wow.
Then, suddenly a monster attacks because it's about time we had another boss fight. It's a giant thumb spider that spawns out of Yuri. Yes, you heard me correctly. Thumb spider.
Alice is pouring out of his body. It's formed into a monster.
After the fight, Karen is understandably like, hey, what the hell was that? As we know from the previous game, Yuri's little fusion ability sometimes gets out of control.
I'm sorry about that. It's all because of that weird holy stick thing.
With no more interruptions from giant thumb monsters, the squad finally makes it to Paris. But Yuri has one more quick little trip to the graveyard. To his surprise, Jean, the little girl from the village he was protecting, is there. He's like, hey, what the heck are you doing here? And she explains that since she died, she decided to visit his soul and look for something, but she won't elaborate on what it is she's looking for. She then proceeds to say some cryptic shit like, Yuri, are you scared of the journey that's about to begin? The journey of living your life alone. Are you scared? I see. Well, that's too fucking bad you can't escape it, you know. Peace. At the apartment, Geppetto gets to researching about the holy mistletoe. He finds out that for centuries, the church has used it to guide lost souls.
So it's gonna guide my soul too?
I suppose so.
That's bull.
It is not bull.
Is there some way to fix it? Well, you've got to do something.
I think you're screwed.
Oh, ow, step, let go. Oh, that thing goes.
Ah, you old man.
Yuri and Geppetto get distracted from strangling each other by Karen's boobs. They drop on their knees in front of her and get slapped.
You guys?
Yuri is feeling a bit hopeless about the mistletoe situation before coming up with an idea. A beautiful idea, an excellent idea, an idea I am fully supportive of. There's this weird old creature I know living in Wales. This guy is really, really old.
Hello, my name is Raja Bacon.
I hope you don't mind.
That's from my university days.
I found it over there. Is it all right if I borrow it?
You're welcome to it, my dear.
You fool. I'll be selling that to a vendor the second there's an upgrade available. Now at this point in the game, the intro is basically over. Here's where we start to dip our toes into a little bit of how weird this game can get. Firstly, we'll start by collecting these little items here. They're called stud cards. Keep these in mind, we'll figure out what they're for in a second. Secondly, even the random street NPCs start getting a little spicier. Let's check in with Suzanne, who likes younger men. There's a wonderful painter lodging in my neighborhood. Maybe I should try to get him to do my portrait. I bet he'd even do a nude for me. Okay then, thank you, random lady I've never talked to before. We also get to do our first wolf bout. Wolf bouts are basically just, well, this guy comes up to you and is like, hey, let's have a dog fight.
I'm gonna beat you. Then Ernest will be really proud of me.
That's a childish reason for a fight. I say no.
So Blanca fights his wolf, and then he's like, wow, that was cool. Here's a stamp card. Please keep fighting dogs. Every time Blanca wins a wolf bout, he gets a stamp on the card and various upgrades. These two little goobers are the game's vendors. You know how in DMC5, Nico just magically appears everywhere in the van, no matter how ridiculous it would be for her to get there so that you always have access to a shop?
You're up, Nico.
Got you covered, asshole.
Yeah, they're like that. They're also why we need to collect those stud cards. That's right, if you bring them a card with a big, beautiful, buff, suggestive man on it, they tailor dresses for Geppetto's puppet, Cornelia. Cornelia can change her attack element based on the theme of the dress that she's wearing. These two will also give you a handy-dandy point card that you level up as you use the shop. This point card will give you opportunities to try for discounts and markups. On the way to Wales to talk to Roger, the team has to go through a subway system to get there safely and undetected. Here we see Nikolai's henchman Lenny explaining to his cronies that the reason Yuri isn't dead is because the mistletoe will take him out slowly. He also mentions that another of Nikolai's associates, a quote S&M broad and magic lady warrior, has a trap awaiting for Yuri's group to counter their quote weird puppet guy. Ugh, Lenny has such a way with words. This brings us to one of my least favorite aspects of Covenant, some, not all, just some of the dungeon type areas can be a little tedious. Like this subway area, for example. It has a billion paths with a lot of things constantly blocking your way, and you have to run over every single path with tons of backtracking to be able to continue forward, all of course while monsters are continuously attacking you. Sometimes the way forward here can be a little bit cryptic, so you really have to run around to try to figure out where the heck to go, and that in combination with the required backtracking just gets a little irritating here and in a few other areas. Like, don't get me wrong, most of the game is really good and I enjoy most of the areas, but listen, you know what I'm telling you? I'm telling you I hate this subway. I had a more unpleasant experience in this subway than the last time I was on a subway in Los Angeles, and that subway smelled like pee. Eventually, once you get through all that crap, Karen and the dog are like, hey, look at this little minecart, we can use this, everybody get in.
What's that?
I gotcha.
That guy's pretty stubborn, ain't he?
Hey there, Spike Boy! You couldn't catch a cold if you wanted to! Now bite me!
Why, you little... Hey, where you going?
So you remember earlier when Lenny said that there would be a trap? Jesus H. Christ. This is Veronica. Now, Veronica has a very unique and interesting design. If you look closely, you might notice that she has huge
Doban Hunkeros, massive Dahunka Bankaloos, big old Tanahangarakugas.
Miyako Kato was not fucking around when she put chest meat into this game. I mean, good lord, even Yuri abandoned the trench coat to let his chesticles out. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, Veronica tries to stop you from leaving the subway, and she summons these two little, well, actually, they're kind of big demon things. You beat them and we move on to the next city. Hooray, the lottery's back. Just like in the first game, you'll find lottery tickets hidden all around the world. When you hand them over to a lottery guy, you get a chance to win an item. However, if you mess up the timing, you get tissues as a booby prize. Then there's the most relatable character in the game. He is described as extremely poor and sounds just like me when I try to make my roommate feel bad until she brings me Popeyes. Don't talk to me, I'm so hungry. It hurts just to speak. The squad needs a ship to take them to England, but the town is having an issue with a bandit. You see, the mayor is really pissed about this little thief. He has a vigilante group that's been going after him, but they get beat up pretty bad and he gets away. The mayor offers a boat ride in exchange for bringing the bandit to justice. When the sun goes down, the group joins the patrol. They hear another vigilante member getting attacked, so they run over to help.
What is this? What happened here?
Who's that?
And the forces of darkness descend in the name of justice, this fist! In the name of truth, these muscles! In the name of honor, this blood! Ha ha! Champion of truth and justice, Grand Papillon, ready to fight all evildoers! If you can face the unfettered fury of my rippling muscles, then come on!
What? Huh?
What? Huh? Is the funniest possible response to a boss fight initiating. But yeah, this interesting fellow here is indeed our bandit. And we've got to take him out if we want to get on that boat.
Huh?
You pack a pretty good punch. Time for me to go now, kids. We'll meet again.
He turned into a bat.
Well, he's certainly good at running away.
I'm sure I've met him before.
Yuri does in fact know him, but we'll get back to that later. The mayor is like, whoa, holy shit, you were strong enough to drive that dude off, that's insane. We think we may have a lead on where he might stay during the day. So you pull up to a little shop and sure enough, there's the Grand Papillon without his mask. But something doesn't seem quite right. He appears to just be a peaceful guy that's looking after some kids.
But Joachim isn't a thief! Yeah, now get out of here!
Okay, just relax. Don't get so worked up.
I don't know what the mayor told you, but I'll never let you take us alive!
Tell me why you are stealing and causing so much trouble in the town.
Joachim is protecting the store and the children from the mayor and his cronies.
Ah, the truth comes out. Turns out the mayor has been bullying this old lady to try and get the deed to her store, as there are rumors of a great treasure being buried underneath of it. Our noble protagonists no longer feel alright working for the mayor, so they head back to him. They tell him that he needs to leave Granny alone, and they return his money. The mayor does not like this. The children are kidnapped and held hostage until the deed to the store is handed over. Joachim joins the party, and we're off to the rescue. At the cellar where the children are being kept, there are plenty of the mayor's cronies to fight. Yuri notices that Joachim isn't quite as strong as when he was Grand Papillon.
Why don't you just morph yourself?
I already told you before, Yuma has my mask.
What's that got to do with anything?
A hero has to have one or two weak points, you know. Nobody loves a perfect superhero.
Your brains are enough of a weak point, if you ask me.
Egads! Veronica is there with the kids in the cellar. She explains that she tricked the mayor in an elaborate scheme to lure us here. In a heroic display, Joachim fights her single-handedly.
You with the silly outfit! How dare you take my family! I, Joachim, will make you pay for your crimes! Ha!
Silly outfit, huh? My name is Veronica, if you must know. But the time for talk is over.
Joachim! Big brother!
What is he doing?
Huh? What's going on?
Champion of truth and justice, Grand Papillon! Ready to fight all evildoers!
The two have a glorious battle before Veronica is like,
Not too shabby, masked wonder.
Ha 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 ha! No evildoer can stand against my rippling muscles!
Well, I hate to get myself all sweaty. Here, I've got a present for you.
That thing looks pretty tough.
Come on, we've got to help!
Do we really have to get in the middle of this one?
yes, Yuri, you're a protagonist. You have to get in the middle of everything. Once the fight is over, Joachim brings the kids back to Granny. The mayor gets right with God and makes good on his promise of a boat ride. Joachim is so thankful for the help that he decides to join the party permanently. Yuri is kinda like, I don't know about that. But you remember how Yuri said he feels like he knows him from somewhere? Joachim says he'll only tell him who he truly is if he's allowed to tag along. Curiosity gets the better of Yuri, and just like that, we have a new teammate. When they get off of the boat, they quickly head to the nearest inn to escape a storm. Here, they see a familiar face.
I thought it might be you. It's been a long time.
Huh. It's you.
Yes, Kato. It's been a year. No, longer.
How you been?
Who is this?
Huh? A friend from my Shanghai days.
Japanese Imperial Navy. Special Agent Masaji Kato.
That's right. Do you remember this guy Kato from the previous game? Here's a little refresher in case you don't. He was the guy that was working with Kawashima. Together, they pretended to be smugglers to get close to Alice to try and turn her into the government. However, along their journey, they became friends with Yuri and consequently refused to turn them in. Kato loved Kawashima and was extremely devastated by her execution. He's moved up the ranks since all that happened and is now a Japanese diplomat. Kato asks Yuri what he's up to these days, and he explains that he's about to head to Wales.
Wales?
Yeah, Wales.
Have you been to Wales before?
No, but I've heard a lot about it. It sounds like an interesting place.
Nah, there's nothing there at all. Probably just a bunch of weird monsters.
Jesus, Yuri, what did Welsh people ever do to you? Also, can we talk for a moment about how Kato's voice actor is the same as Bane Bloodhoof? I can't unhear it. Yuri and Bane Bloodhoof, Kato, have a private conversation. Kato laments the loss of Kawashima, and Yuri informs Kato that Alice has passed away. Yuri also mentions that a secret society called Sapientes Gladio put a curse on him. Kato seems quite shocked to hear this name, but then plays it off and says that he'll let Yuri know if he hears anything useful. Talking with Kato about Alice in the past must have stirred up some feelings within Yuri, because the next time he goes to the soul graveyard, this conversation happens. You know, I'm looking for your happiness, Yuri. My happiness? Yes, what happiness means to you. It doesn't matter what, it could be something small, anything at all. But I can't find it anywhere, you emo bitch. Oh, come on, I'm happy. Look at me. I'm just fine. You don't have to try and pretend. I know more about your heart than you do right now, Yuri. Remember you told me once about your girlfriend that died to save you? Huh? Yeah. She died for you, so you feel like you've got to live, but you're actually sad and don't feel much like living. Where is your happiness, Yuri? It must be in there somewhere. You don't have to play tough, you know. Remember, I can see your heart. I'll be seeing you, Yuri. Even if you get sad, don't ever forget to live. Peace. The topic of Yuri not being able to fully live due to his grief is a constant theme. When I first played this game, I always kind of thought Jeanne was a bit of a throwaway side character filler type thing, but she's actually really important to conveying Yuri's narrative as somebody that can see into his heart. He's only going through the motions because he feels like he has to. He'd feel guilty if he gave up, so he pretends to be normal on the outside. We wouldn't really know this without Jeanne. Without seeing this inside view of him, Yuri comes across as pretty confident and goofy, but on the inside, he's consumed with his grief for Alice. If it weren't for Nikolai disrupting his whole life, he'd still be sitting in the village by her grave protecting it. Jeanne and all of the other characters are there as a push to remind him that he still needs to live his life. This is one of my favorite themes in this game's story. Maybe I'm just traumatized, but I feel like this plot is something a lot of us can relate to. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the death of a person, but about anything so emotionally overwhelming that it holds us back. One of my favorite bands, AJJ, said it best. If you spend all your heart on something that has died, you are not alive. Okay, Grandma, you've been depressing about a scene that wasn't even important enough to get voice acting for too long. Get back to the plot. Wait, but no, I still have more feelings. So you know how Blanca has wolf mounts? Every character has little side things. Joachim's is, arguably the most unhinged. It starts off with him meeting his wrestling teacher, the Great Gamma. You can fight Gamma with Joachim several times throughout the game for some Joachim power-ups. It also devolves into one of the weirdest side quests in the game, but we'll get back to that later. We head into yet another dungeon on our way to Wales. Oh look, a visit from our friend Ring Soul. He seems a little annoyed as he gives us our power-up. Yuri gets his name wrong and treats him very casually. Ring Soul is not a fan of this. After killing a boss at the end of the dungeon as usual, we make it to our destination, Roger Bacon's house in Wales. Ah, look there in the distance, it's the monastery from Koudelka. But there's just one little problem. Roger Bacon is nowhere to be found. Nikolai's henchman Lenny pops up and tells the squad that Roger was kidnapped. He says he's in a cage somewhere far away.
Where is he?
I can't tell you.
'Cause you don't know?
I know all right.
And where?
I'm not saying.
I knew it. You got no idea.
I told you, you little punk. I do know.
Right.
Really? I do know, really.
Yeah, right.
It's true, he's in Italy, Florence, Italy! Oh! Wait, stop right there! You ignoring me?
What now?
Don't ignore me!
Once Lenny is chased off with a fight, it's off to Florence, Italy, where he said Roger was taken. An explorer named Thomas pops up and says that Sapientes Gladio is up to something on a global scale and that they need to be stopped. He offers up the name of a woman in Florence that may be able to help.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder how she's doing that.
Yeah.
She's not using any wires.
This is Lucia. Lucia works as a dancer and tarot reader for a woman named Carla. Carla is like, yeah, I'll help you, but you either better get dancing or get working, cause I ain't doing shit for free. Much to my dismay, the gang opts out of dancing, so Carla sends them on a quest to get her a flower from a remote island as payment. But before we go on to the game's wildest fetch quest, we check in quick with Nikolai. Nikolai criticizes Lenny for only having one brain cell due to him giving Yuri information so easily. However, apparently Roger has already been relocated. Lucia tags along with to hunt down this rare flower for Carla, and this bitch be up to something. One minute she's like, I grew up on this island. The next she'd be like, let's see, was it the door on the right? I think it was. But it could be the door on the left. Actually, I think it might be the one in the middle. Since Lucia's trifling ass isn't being helpful, this leads us to having to do a bunch of puzzles to navigate around the island. These puzzles are actually pretty fun, I liked them. Yuri bullies Ring Soul a little bit, and then things get kind of unhinged.
Huh?
That is one giant pussy.
This is where you all die.
Huh?
Andre, go on ahead and get them. Huh? Wait a minute! Stop! I'm your master! Did you forget who I am?
It looks like it's trying to eat her.
Maybe we should try and help.
I think you're right.
Alright everyone, please pull out your bingo cards. Who had boss fight with giant pink cat named Andre that steals your money? Anyone? When confronted, Lucia explains that she and Carla figured Yuri and crew were spies for Sapientes Gladio. Apparently, it wasn't uncommon for them to pretend to be customers to get information, and her response has always been to take them to the island to feed them to Andre. Teehee. Heading back to Carla, we learn that when she was younger, she used to be a member of Sapientes Gladio, but she ran away from them when she realized the extent of their violent tendencies. She's been evading them for years and wants to see them taken down. She discloses the location of their Florence headquarters, and Lucia becomes a permanent party member. Lucia is kind of a cool character with a few interesting mechanics. She's basically a bard. She can combine oils to buff the party and draw tarot cards in combat that have a large range of potential outcomes. Some of the outcomes are very helpful and some are negative. It's a bit of a gamble to use, which is kind of fun. Inside the headquarters, there are some interesting puzzles. You can examine most of the items in the rooms. For example, there is a large, expensive-looking vase. There is also a big stopped clock. There are books placed around the room. One of them smells suspicious. You pick it up and read it. It's a ghast all about farts. Farts usually come roughly 6 hours after eating, so if you had breakfast, one should come around 3 o'clock. Don't try and hold them in or they'll come out your mouth. Be considerate, but commit to healthy farting. Machida, are you sure about this one? Listen, I've been keeping a secret counter this entire time of how many times this godforsaken game mentions the word fart. We are currently at 6. Now, reading the books around the room give you 2 times you can put into the clock. If you recall, 3 o'clock was mentioned in the fart book. If you put in 3 o'clock, all that happens is the vase farts and Yuri says, "Oh my god." As you progress through the HQ, Yuri starts to notice that the building is way too empty, and upon searching the last room, he deduces that Roger is not being kept here. And then there's a boss that kinda looks like a ballsack. The gang is a little confused as to why there's no Roger Bacon in the building when Lenny and Nikolai burst through the wall with cannonballs.
Yo!
Well, let's see. It's been 2 months since the mistletoe's curse, and you still look quite normal.
It didn't work. It's a load of crap.
Somebody needs to teach him manners.
The one you're looking for is no longer here.
What?
Saint Marguerite Island. We're holding him there.
Saint Marguerite.
Godslayer, get me the Emigre manuscript. Do that, and I'll give you bacon.
God, Nikolai's just so dreamy. He knows exactly what a woman wants to hear.
I'll give you bacon.
So Nikolai is looking for the Emigre manuscript. There are 3 tomes that were stolen from the Vatican at the start of Koudelka. The Pulse Tract, the Roulier text, and the Emigre manuscript, which the games used to call the Emigre document. The game recaps everything you need to know about these books with the aid of these lovely scribble drawings, which, by the way, are canonly drawn by Yuri. We've talked about these books extensively in the previous 2 videos, so we're gonna skip all of that. All you need to remember is that the Emigre manuscript is the one that has the potential power to bring the dead back to life. Because of the disasters that have consistently come from these books, Roger and Yuri have sealed them away. The Emigre manuscript is protected by a monster near the Nemeton Monastery. Well, but it's back to Wales, I guess. And it is quite the journey through a big labyrinth to get the manuscript back. Yuri bullies Ringsoul yet again, this time by beating into his little speech about fate. We fight the big old boss protecting the manuscript, and the book is now back in Yuri's possession. He promptly keels over and dies upon touching it.
The book to bring back the dead.
Yuri!
Huh?
What happened? You collapsed all of a sudden.
Are you all right?
Sorry. Guess I need to eat something.
Alright, listen, I'm gonna be real with you, that is a little ominous. This entire series revolves around the deep, unfathomable horror that is caused by people using this book to try and resurrect the dead, and the first thing that Yuri thinks about when taking it is not all of these monsters and problems, it's Alice. And that concerns me. Without any other options available, it's time for the group to head to the island Nikolai mentioned to bring him the manuscript. On the island, another wolf steals Yuri's keys, and it's time to play as Blanca for a little bit to get them back. There are a few segments in the game where you get to play as Blanca, and they're all pretty odd and fun. Blanca can do all kinds of crazy stuff like unlock doors, but he cannot row a boat. That would be silly. However, it looks like it won't be as simple as just handing the book over. Once they head into the building on the island, everyone dies one by one. I'm just gonna keep saying everyone dies all the time so that when it does finally happen, you guys are gonna be like, what?
I'm going to faint. I'm getting weaker.
Uh-oh, it's got me too. Yeah.
Come on. What's wrong with all of you?
This perfume was made from foxglove, and it will paralyze you if you inhale it.
Too late.
Whoopsie, looks like the gang was had by Veronica once they finally make their way inside. However, a certain non-human member of the party seems to be unaffected.
Huh?
Go after it and kill it.
What, that stupid dog?
It's smarter than you.
That was devastating. Nikolai flips over our pal Yuri and snatches the emigre manuscript right from his bosom.
Okay, I'll finish him off.
Wait a minute. Nikolai said I could have him.
Not that weird stuff again.
What about it, Nikolai?
Do whatever you want.
Oh, not that weird stuff indeed. You'd think the smart thing would be to go ahead and off the whole group while they're down, but no. Veronica is a certified freak, 7 days a week.
They sure caught us.
Yep, they sure did.
Well, what are we going to do now?
What can we do? Bite through these bars?
Don't worry. Blanca will save us.
What, that stupid wolf?
He's smarter than you.
Bite me, you jerks. What are you laughing at?
So, you're finally awake.
Betwixt a little extra banter, Veronica drops a lore bomb on us that she knows Lucia, and she knows her quite well. Apparently, they were students together. She makes it clear that she will not be going easy on her just because they're acquainted. No, but for real, Veronica is pretty brutal. Remember when Carlo was saying that Sapientes Gladio's violence was a little too much for her? Well, it didn't bother little baby Veronica here. There she is, waving that knife like she's lead knife in the knife parade.
Hey, whip lady!
Uh-oh.
Ouch! Why'd you hit me?
The game gets a little frisky here, and there are a ton of options.
Okay, which one of you will volunteer to be my special play friend?
Here you'll have to choose which character you want to offer up to Veronica as a, quote, plaything by selecting a line of dialogue. Each line corresponds to a character. For example, choosing I just might like the kinky stuff picks Geppetto. There's actually a lot that goes on here. You can pick any character, and they all have slightly different dialogues and slightly different outcomes. We'll take a look at a few of the most interesting ones. Firstly, you can make Veronica so angry that she whips the characters across the tits. Secondly, Veronica's little torture panel here looks like a game controller. That's neat. Thirdly, we learn a little bit about our big, beautiful boy Joachim. He is not interested in women. Fourthly, in Karen's dialogue, Veronica mentions that she's the kind of woman that Nikolai would go for under different circumstances. The game brings this up a lot. It is very blatant that Nikolai is horny for Karen. Lastly, you can get character weapon upgrades here for picking the correct options.
That S&M broad is nuts, I tell ya. She's really into some weird stuff.
Did you find the dog?
I'm looking for it now. That thing's slippery as hell. I wonder where it's hiding.
This book. It is most definitely cursed. Why in the world would anybody want such a thing?
It's interesting that Nikolai doesn't even seem to know what the Emigre manuscript is, considering everything he's gone through to get it. He says that he's leaving to bring the book to his master, whoever that is, and entrusting Lenny to stay behind to make sure that Yuri and the others are finished off.
Oh yeah. I gotta find that dog.
Blanca, get your shit together. This is a stealth game now. That's right, it's stealth mission time. As Blanca, you sneak around and hide behind pillars to avoid guards. Except, the giant white dog is pretty easy to spot, so despite the stealthy animations, you still get caught a lot anyway, and it's kind of hilarious. Eventually, Blanca makes it all the way back to the rest of the party and does indeed save the day. Joachim has this thing where you never have to buy him weapons because he finds random objects and uses them. I just wanted to point this one out because the dialogue made me laugh. He goes on and on about how the pipe is special because it must be full of the gratitude from stray cats that would have taken shelter in it. Yuri is like, that's fucking stupid, and he's like, I'm gonna use it as a straw. And just like that, Joachim has a new, stronger weapon and he beats people with a pipe. Everything is looking up and there's someone we need to rescue.
Now you're trapped.
So where's your leader, Nikolai?
He's not here anymore.
So where is he?
I'm not telling you.
You don't know.
Yes, I do.
So where?
I'm not telling.
I knew it. You don't know.
I just told you I do know.
Yeah, right.
That's right. I don't know. What kind of an idiot would fall for your stupid little trick?
I'll kill you for that! I swear I'll kill you!
Once you manage to battle your way through wave after wave of clawed henchmen, Lenny realizes that he's the very last one of his unit still standing, which honestly is kind of sad. I feel a little bit bad now. He makes it clear that he will do anything in his power to finish Yuri off. Well, anything but ask Veronica for help.
Just stay out of my way. All I want's the old man.
I can't do that. We're gonna finish it. Now. Bring it on!
Oh god, Lenny hulked out. I kinda like Lenny, he's funny. But alas, unfortunately for him, I just bought a shitload of healing items and am therefore invincible. And all good things must eventually come to an end.
Lenny.
You got me.
Lenny!
Hey, Roger, wake up.
Huh. He looks the same underneath.
Keep your comments to yourself. Besides, you're late getting here.
Hey, Who's this weird-looking gentleman?
What a rude young lady. My name is...
Roger, I missed you. And if it isn't my favorite recurring joke in the series, trying to give Roger an RPG name.
No, that's not it. It's Roger Bacon. Yes, master philosopher, alchemist, and eternal love god. Oh!
Enough of that. We don't have time for your long-winded self-introductions.
Eh? What are you talking about? Ah! Yeah, it doesn't look like his bones are broken. Hey, you old goat! Watch out where you're touching! I'm not doing it because I want to. You didn't give it to him, did you, Yori? You didn't give Nikolai the book, did you?
Well, you see,
You gave it to him. I was tortured for several days and didn't talk. Tortured until my soul cried out, ouch!
Stop your complaining. We'll get it back already, okay?
Oh, it's terrible. If we don't do something, there'll be another terrible tragedy.
Get a hold of yourself. First, we have to get out of here. Then we can talk, okay?
She's right. We should leave before they come back.
Well, okay.
Roger tells us a bit about Sapientes Gladio. Essentially, they started out as a good group with good intentions, until one man came in and began making their group more extreme. Eventually, they would become what they are today, a society that will do anything to get what they want, no matter how destructive or violent.
So they're terrorists.
Exactly right. Sapientes Gladio, as they are now, is nothing more than a group of dangerous terrorists. If we don't stop them, something terrible will happen.
But why you, Roger? Why was Sapientes Gladio hunting for you?
Good question. They wanted 3 things. My life, the emigre manuscript, and...
And what?
I think it would be better if I showed you that.
Whoa, hey, look, Roger still has that treadmill that teleports you to God. But the thing he wanted to show us is even cooler than that. Beneath his weird little house in Wales lies a powerful jet.
Bacon jet, lift off!
Bacon jet?
Don't talk to me right now! Okay, that's better. That was one of my smoothest takeoffs.
So who is this leader anyway? What's he really after?
His name is Grigory Rasputin, and his goal is to take over the Russian Empire.
That's right. This whole arc revolves around Rasputin. Yes, like Rasputin. This segment is really interesting because, like most other historical arcs in this series, it is both extremely accurate and extremely not accurate at the same time. In this scene, we're introduced to Rasputin, and apparently he bangs Veronica. This is likely a nod to the fact that the real Rasputin often had a lot of weird promiscuous rumors swirling around about him. A lot of people believed him to be quite the ladies' man, though these are pretty much mostly just rumors without much evidence. Rasputin makes it clear that he plans on putting an end to the 300-year Romanov dynasty. This is not particularly historically accurate. Veronica mentions that the Empress is very dependent on him since he healed her son, the Prince. This is extremely historically accurate. Rasputin tells Veronica to keep an eye on Nikolai as he's feeling a little bit suspicious of him, and he turns down an invitation to a royal ball that evening, saying that he will instead be at church.
Time to take the stage as the man who ended the 300-year-old Romanov dynasty.
Outside of the room is a little girl eavesdropping on their conversation. She can't quite hear what they were talking about, but she's sure that Rasputin is bad and she wants to find proof for her father. That means that this character here is none other than Anastasia Romanov. Anastasia visits with a family friend named Edgar. Edgar is a clockmaker and also supplies Anastasia with her weapon and a camera she'll use for her special ability.
You must always use the mystic egg and the camera for the cause of good.
Of course, I promise.
You might think telling someone to use a mystic egg for good sounds strange, and that's because it is. Anastasia's specialty weapon is a Fabergé egg, a type of bejeweled eggshell that is exceedingly fragile. She hits people with it. I don't understand how that works, but this is Shadowhearts, so we're going to accept it and move on. It's also a cool touch that they gave Anastasia a camera to use for her special ability, because in real life, her father, Tsar Nicholas, was an avid photographer. And who should appear in the shop but Kato? He comes by to get his watch repaired, but the question is, why is he here in Russia? Despite Edgar's wishes, Anastasia promptly gets to using her mystic egg and camera for dangerous activities. Activities such as spying on Rasputin.
The victory reception is upon us. You have one chance to kill him. You must not miss.
Yes, sir.
Rasputin is not pleased about having a photo snapped of him together with the random guy he's conspiring an assassination with, so he orders for Anastasia to be killed. The giant monster catches the attention of Yuri, and voila, we now have a converged story. To make sure that she's safe, they bring her back to the watchmaker Edgar.
Why was that monster trying to kill you anyway?
A royal princess's personal business is none of the affair of peasants. Let's just say that in this great big world, there are those who choose to align themselves with the forces of good and battle against the dark forces of evil.
Please, forgive her. She's always liked to daydream. Don't take her seriously.
I'm not daydreaming anything!
When all of the pieces of why the monster was after Anastasia are put together, the gang realizes that this means they now have a common enemy. I had a really funny rah-rah Rasputin joke here, but YouTube made me remove it because using 4 seconds of a song is a war crime. Nikolai meets up with Kato and hands him the emigre manuscript, which is weird because earlier it was implied that he would be taking it to his master, which would be Rasputin. It's easy to imagine why someone power-hungry like Rasputin would want the book, but what on earth does Kato need it for?
When do you think I will be able to meet with His Holiness, Lord Rasputin?
I'm so sorry. His Holiness is terribly busy.
That's fine. Please give the future Emperor my best. Naturally, whoever takes over the throne will find a true friend in my country.
I did not black out the screen there. It really just starts to fade to black and Nikolai just goes, huh. I don't know why that noise happening right at the last second is funny to me, but it is. Can I please get a in the comments? Also, I'd just like to bring up the fact that a lot of NPCs randomly talk about a guy named Prince Yusupov. This is interesting because in real life, Prince Yusupov is the guy that murdered the real Rasputin. Anastasia heads back to the palace and her mom is kind of like, hey, what the hell are you doing running around with a bunch of foreign adults? That's kind of weird. That's when Rasputin, of all people, pops in and vouches for them, so she lets it fly. Yuri is incapable of remembering how to be respectful and bow to the royalty, which is pretty fun. Rasputin has beef with both Yuri and Anastasia, so it seems like he wants them in the same place to take them out together. I just wanted to point out real quick that the Winter Palace in-game really looks similar to the actual Winter Palace. I mean, you know, as much as the PS2 reasonably can. There's a lot of attention to detail, and I think that's neat. That night, the Winter Palace is host to a lavish party.
So the ball has begun?
It's every night. Every night. There's something wrong with them. This whole country is insane. Maybe it should disappear.
Hang on.
The people's anger is ready to explode, and we pretend nothing's going on. We're like Nero. We keep on fiddling as the world is burning around us.
This is a simplified version of what led to the Romanov downfall in real life. Tsar Nicholas II was basically seen as incompetent and ignorant to the problems of the people. The working class was having a bad time, as the working class tend to do, while the Tsar and his family seemingly gallivanted around. Rasputin added fuel to this fire with all of the rumors surrounding him and his impact on some of the Tsar's political decisions. Anastasia says she can feel an uprising beginning, and historically she is very, very correct. If you are familiar with the story of the Romanov family, well, that gets pretty dark. Yuri talks with her and tries to make her feel a little bit better.
I'm half Russian, you know. My mother was born and bred in Russia.
Really?
Yeah. So don't get so depressed, all right? If the princess gives up, everyone else will too.
During the ball, Veronica puts a curse on the entire Winter Palace. Lucia says that the only way to stop the purple fart gas is to defeat Veronica directly, because of course it is. This curse got everyone acting real, well, cursed.
How do you like my little puppet show? It's much more entertaining than a boring old ball, don't you think?
Rasputin!
Anastasia, I have you and your brother sleeping on my lap. He's very cute.
As usual with Shadowhearts villains, we're going to see that Rasputin isn't totally 100% wrong in his ideology. Like, don't get me wrong, he's overreacting and he's crazy, but he does have legitimate criticisms. Also, this game version of Rasputin's goal is to take over all of Europe and cause the fall of the Romanov family. This is very historically inaccurate. As a matter of fact, the real Rasputin was murdered 2 full years before the death of the Romanovs. To be honest, the real Rasputin really didn't do that much, but the rumors and myths of a powerful murder wizard are much more fun. And before one of you know who you are, brings it up in the comments, Rasputin's wiener is most likely not in a jar, which is disappointing because it would be very funny if it was.
Wouldn't it be wonderful? The whole world hearkening to my voice. Each breath of mine, the ocean's tides.
It's greedy maniacs like you, Rasputin, that start revolutions and cause innocent people to die.
Let me explain something to you. It is the people themselves who cry the loudest for a change in government. And I think even you should know that. An unbridgeable gap has opened between the people and the aristocracy. Even without me, the fire of revolution would sooner or later be lit.
Shut up!
Anastasia!
If that's the case, then the less blood spilt, the better. Royal blood alone should be sufficient. What's wrong, Godslayer? Kill me if you have the courage.
Oh no, the Russian man is impenetrable. That is most ungood. On top of that, he kills Yuri.
I call on the spirit of the mistletoe.
Just kidding, Yuri's fine, but he does somehow manage to possess Anastasia, and he puts a knife in her hand, and that's not a good combination.
Anastasia!
Stop!
Rasputin tells Anastasia's mother that Yuri's clown squad used their evil foreigner magic to try and make her assassinate her brother Alexei. Which honestly doesn't really make sense if you think about it for longer than 2 seconds, because why would they not just do it themselves if they wanted the heir to the throne taken out? They were literally standing right there. Alexei is a child with hemophilia. I don't think anyone needs to get that creative to kill him. But I suppose that's neither here nor there. We've got bigger fish to fry. Like, how are we supposed to slap the shit out of Rasputin when he has a big shield? We've got a mystery to solve. But first, guards are on their way. Yo, time to skedaddle out of here. Roger says he knows the person that originally founded Sapientes Gladio, and that if anyone had any ideas on how to pierce Rasputin's shield, it would be him, a man named Bishop Jovis. Under Jovis, Sapientes Gladio was a peaceful organization that did good for the people around them. Alright gang, bear with me for a second because we've got a lore dump here. Jovis makes it very clear that he has completely broken any ties with the organization and vehemently opposes Rasputin. He also makes some weird comments towards Yuri about recognizing the soul of wrath inside of him and that he can sense he's being suppressed by the holy mistletoe. Jovis was once a mentor to Rasputin until the organization was overthrown by him. Apparently the source of his power is a soul pact he made with a god, a powerful god named Asmodeus. Where do people in this series keep finding gods to make soul pacts with? Jesus Christ. Asmodeus is a big strong boy and keeps Rasputin shielded. Jovis says the only thing that would ever be able to rival the power of Rasputin's god is another god, and there are only two he can think of that would be strong enough to do so.
Power like that? Where would we find it?
Within the heart of this young man.
Huh? Me?
Jovis tells a story of a man that he used to work alongside that once harnessed the power of a god to try and stop Rasputin. However, this man's plan would reorder the entire nature of the world. Is this sounding a little familiar? That's right, Jovis knew Albert Simon, you know, the guy with the top hat from the previous game. Albert Simon had made a soul pact with a powerful demon called Amon, and Yuri absorbed Amon's power when he defeated him. However, Amon is currently fucked over by the mistletoe. And you wanna know what's funny? I like how this game is like, yes, Yuri canonically absorbed the power from Albert just like that, but the BS I had to go through playing through that game to get Amon's fusion form still haunts me. That game does not just give it to you, and it is extremely skippable. Anyway, Jovis has an idea on how to free Amon of the mistletoe. He suggests a trial, one where Yuri must seek out the soul of Amon within himself. However, such a task would be incredibly dangerous if he were to fail. Karen offers to go with him on this journey, completely accepting that it could mean her death. Geppetto offers to go in her place, but Karen insists that she wants to be there for Yuri. While preparing for the trial, we bump into Ringsoul again. He seems like he's in a hurry. He forks over the item and rushes through his usual speech about destiny, before saying he has to hurry home to his wife who's waiting for him. Wait, Ringsoul has a wife? And now it's time to face the dangers of attempting to free the God of Wrath from the mistletoe's curse.
My children, all I can give to you is my prayers. May God grant you strength.
Karen, there's still time. Give it up.
Oh, come on, it's too late.
Yeah, but Karen, you don't really wanna see the inside of my heart.
Something embarrassing there?
Bite me.
Maybe you just wanted to hold hands with the old man.
Bite me.
Insulataki, insukuntafa, antaibadonuya baishawa!
Oh boy, Karen is inside Yuri. She gets to see the creepy torso tree and even Jean, who wishes them luck. As they head into the door that will begin the search for Amon, Yuri gets sick. The harder he pushes back against the curse, the worse he feels. This area is kind of weird. It's very maze-like and you have to go back and forth between reflections and mirrors to navigate around. Anytime you go through a mirror, you'll have to fight another Yuri and Karen. Once you find your way through the labyrinth, Amon is waiting.
Soon now.
Yeah.
He's always been this scary?
Come on, don't be such a wimp.
This boss really ain't all that bad, despite Yuri commenting on how scary he is, and once he's defeated, it's time to see an old enemy. Friend? Frenemy? In his soul. The rival he received Amon from in the first place.
So tell me, are you still fighting these days, young man?
I guess so.
It was Rasputin that I was actually after. He was my true enemy.
Huh.
It is ironic that you, my former foe, should now be the one fighting him.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Imagine me following in your footsteps. But the way I am now, I don't think I can win.
Albert explains that Asmodeus is pretty much about as evil as it gets. It is indeed pretty ironic that we spent all that time and energy stopping Albert Simon when his goal was to prevent what Yuri is trying to stop now. However, Yuri does have different plans for the future than Albert did.
But is this future I can create going to be a good one?
So are you questioning the worthiness of your struggle?
Well, the thing is, I'm sure you'd have a better chance than I would.
You're wrong. Only you can do it, Yuri. That's what I think.
After a bit more chatting, Albert says goodbye and Yuri regains control over Amon's soul. Nikolai and Rasputin have a conversation about the current state of the war, and there are 3 important things to take note of. Russia is running low on supplies. Japan is now neutral to Russia and willing to sell them weapons and supplies thanks to Nikolai giving Kato the Emigre manuscript. They discuss the sinking of the RMS Lusitania, which is the event that will start bringing the US into the war. These are all historically accurate things. Well, I mean, probably not the part about an exorcist from the Vatican handing over a magical book that can raise the dead. Probably. But you never know.
Is it true that Lenny was killed on St. Marguerite?
Yes, Master.
I don't understand why you didn't stay and fight.
I thought Lenny could handle matters himself.
I see. But you knew how powerful he was, right? But still you sent Lenny alone to do battle with him.
Yes.
I'm kind of glad this game brought this up because, I feel like more JRPG characters should acknowledge that 1v1ing everybody all the time is kind of stupid. Yuri is feeling quite guilty for bringing Bishop Jovis and his people into his mess and gets a little bit emo. He realizes that no matter what choices he makes, there's no way to keep everyone safe and happy.
If I hadn't come here, this valley would still be a nice, peaceful place.
But then we couldn't save Russia. Think of Anastasia's family. It's your own mother's homeland.
These guys deserve to be saved too.
You're right. Everyone wants the same thing. To be just a little happier than they are now. Nothing big. Just food, shelter, and time to laugh and cry with the people they love. That's enough to make them happy.
Happy? What does that even mean?
You see, Jovis ain't doing too hot, and he warns Yuri of a demon named Astaroth. Astaroth is the other god that could potentially pose a threat to Rasputin, and he's made a soul pact with someone. But no one knows who. How mysterious. Alright everybody, place your bets. Who do you think it is? My money's on Andre. Jovis doesn't want Yuri to feel guilty, so he tells him this.
If, with my death, the people lose all hope, then my life has been in vain.
Then he dies.
A victory parade for the Tsar returning from his tour of the Eastern Front. Although much love for him was lost on that bloody Sunday of a decade ago, on this day, the people raised their voices in celebration of their Tsar. But like a candle burning more brightly the moment before it is snuffed out, it was glory tinged with tragedy.
The reception for Anastasia's father is about to begin. Rasputin has tried to convince him that Karen is actually a no-good, dirty, rotten German spy, and that it was Yuri that hypnotized Anastasia to try to make her stab her brother. Because of this, they are not allowed to enter the Winter Palace, which means it's time to find a way through the sewers. Yay, sewer level.
If you refuse to die, let me give you a little helping paw.
You look pretty tasty. I'll lap you up. Guts, fur, bones, and all.
Damn, the sewer wolf-bout dog kinda looking a little Resident Evil-y. At the reception, the Tsar gives a nice little speech about how he thinks Russia is performing fantastically in the war. Everyone claps and starts dancing until... Rasputin gives some fake bitch shit like, oh, I'm so happy you're all okay and alive.
Thanks for worrying, Mr. Rasputin. As you can see, I'm quite well.
Unfortunately for our boy Rasputin, Anastasia has receipts.
You can drop the pretense. My daughter has brought proof of your treachery. This photograph here proves it.
Rasputin hits the Tsar with a pocket sand before skedaddling outside and launching a full-blown attack.
Pocket sand.
Come on! We've got to find a way to save this country!
Anastasia!
Oh, man. I'll protect the princess. Don't you worry.
I'm counting on you.
My, could Anastasia be their leader?
I think she might be.
With that, it's time to face the horrors Rasputin unleashes. And then you know how Rasputin just yelled at Nikolai for letting Lenny fight alone when he knows how strong Yuri is? Well, he tells Veronica to go and fight and then ditches her, so the whole party takes on just Veronica. She, dies. I'd also like to point out that her boss form has a whopping 8 boobs. Listen, I mean, Veronica's kind of cool, but oh man, look at that. That is satisfying. Worth. All right, listen, I've really been trying to edit these scenes down because I know some of you don't like when I leave big fat honkin' cutscenes in the video, but this one's really cool, and I like letting the best scenes speak for themselves.
Lord Rasputin.
mistletoe! Demon. My shield! So much power. I suppose I have no other choice, huh? Aman! I have something to show you! The demon that dwells within me! My lord and benefactor Asmodeus! It is time to fulfill the soul pact! Come to this world and take this place as your holy land! In the name of the Sword Sages, I summon you to this place!
Nikolai follows after Rasputin and has a conversation with him. He doesn't seem to care that much that his lover Veronica is dead, nor does he seem to care about his goals for Russia any longer.
Goals? I have no goals. There's no longer any need to rush. 100 years, 200 years, it doesn't matter at all. Time doesn't matter at all. What's wrong? You should be happy. You no longer have to toil in the dark like a thief. You'll soon have revenge.
After my mother died and I was orphaned, it was you who had the Vatican accept me, Master. I have done my best since then to try to repay that debt.
Yes, is that so? A sad story. But what of it? I saved you to use as my tool, not because I had any love for you.
Nikolai realizes that Rasputin has been completely consumed by the demon Asmodeus. Asmodeus rambles on about some truly evil shit. Blah blah blah, snuffing out human lives is fun, I want to destroy Russia, blah blah, I put my toilet paper rolls facing backwards, yada yada.
Your little plan, I've known of it for a long time. To kill me after I become emperor, you were planning on making yourself the new Tsar instead. Isn't that right?
Yes. It is true I am merely a bastard son. But it is still my right to inherit the kingdom.
Who will believe you?
My father.
Alert, alert! There's been a major lore drop. This means that Nikolai is the bastard son of Tsar Nicholas II. This also means that he's the half-brother of Anastasia, but the game never really addresses that aspect, but that's fine. He's been working with Rasputin to have a chance at taking the throne as a technically rightful heir.
I came here to tell you something that you should already know.
What is that?
I'm more certain now than ever.
I asked what it is!
You cannot defeat Yuri.
Nikolai is like, listen, the combination of the power of a demon and Yuri's strong human will is what makes him a godslayer.
You may have the power of a demon, but your will is weak, and that is why you cannot win.
Interesting. And you think that you can win?
Yes.
Why are you so sure? What do you really think a puny human like you can do, huh? Oh, I see. So that's it.
So, you finally understand.
Good. So my true enemy was right here with me all along. We'll settle things between us later. But first, we'll have the Godslayer as a blood offering.
Somewhere around here you can get a really rare scene. I mean, at least I had no idea this scene existed. I had never seen it before, and it is extremely easy to skip. It is also very bizarre. If you go back and talk to Edgar around this point in the game, he'll give Anastasia an upgrade, and then that night, Karen has a dream. A really weird dream. Remember earlier when I said it's no secret that Nikolai is horny for Karen? Jesus Christ.
I don't want to kill you. If you would only join me, you could achieve anything. What do you want? Fortune? Fame? Anything you desire. Karen, my love. You could even bring back your dead family.
That's crazy.
No matter how much you may love him, his heart belongs to another woman. Karen, come with me. I'll give you the love you want.
Please stop.
Don't fight it. A woman needs love to be fulfilled. I need you. Let's be together. Karen, I love
you. And then he does this for some reason. Just like in the previous game, it's time to go to the H.R. Geiger hellscape of a giant tower thing. Oh, and look, the vendors made it here with absolutely no explanation of how. They're like, hey, Yuri, we're ride or die. We're here to help you out no matter what. Of course we made it here. Also, you might die, so maybe you should spend all your money. Are you ready for some absolutely incredible high-quality dialogue?
You're shooting blanks. Your curse isn't worth shit, buddy. Bite me.
No, you will bite me.
Absolutely incredible. Rasputin's boss form is kind of horrifying, Jesus Christ. No, really, what the hell? Yuri's human willpower proves to be stronger than a demon that possessed some Russian guy, and he emerges victorious. Rasputin is like, yeah, you killed me, but the mistletoe is unstoppable, and it's going to eat away at your soul and your personality until you're nothing more than a husk. Have fun with that. Also, Nikolai is back at the Vatican, and he's about to unleash a Pandora's box of misery on the world. So, you know, you could check on that if you feel like it.
So he's won. Very well, Godslayer. Come here. I'm waiting for you.
When the gang gets back to Nikolai, he's like, heh, I'm glad you're here. Rasputin was never your real enemy. It was me all along. He then shares his deeply villainous plans.
This vault is filled to overflowing with the hatred, malice, and despair of the countless souls who have perished here. What if all that malice were to be suddenly released?
Yeah, so the big evil plan here is to open up a Pandora's box full of malice. He wants to unleash it on the world to make everyone super pissed off and fight. Essentially, he wants to make the world more like Twitter.
What I want to do is to crush you. The man who beat Cardinal Albert Simon, who endured the mistletoe's curse, who refused to bend before Rasputin. If I can't destroy you, I'll never be able to forgive myself. Behold! Aren't they beautiful? Perfect balls of negative energy.
What? Did you? No, there ain't no way. I did not just... What did I just hear?
Perfect balls.
I am so sorry in advance for this joke.
Behold! Aren't they beautiful? Perfect balls.
Sorry, that, Listen, I'm old. I shouldn't think someone saying perfect balls is funny, but here we are. Back to the video.
You can try your best, but no matter how much you fight, the age of darkness is nigh!
Bastard! Come on!
Nikolai takes the form of Astaroth, and he kinda reminds me of a Persona design. I recall this fight being a little tougher than Rasputin, but with some persistence, he is taken down.
I suppose that I am beaten, even with the power of Astaroth.
Kato shows up conveniently just in time to close the door. He looks at Yuri and is like, hey man, I know we're bros and everything, but this dude is next in line to be the Tsar of Russia, and as a diplomat of Japan, I can't let you kill him. He makes it clear to Yuri that he doesn't want there to be a scuffle, but Yuri's not really having it.
Do you have any idea what those are going to do?
It was you who let it happen. The malice is already invading the people's hearts. It's too late for them. Taking this person's life is not going to change anything.
Stay out of this.
Yuri!
Kato hauls off with Nikolai back to the capital. And did you see those two little green fellows there protecting him? Those are his guards, referred to as the mutant apes. We'll hear more about them soon. Oh my sweet Lord, baby Jesus Christ, we made it to Disc 2. Disc 2 shifts the timeline forward 3 months. The war has grown increasingly violent and brutal with the implementation of chemical weapons. The gang have just pulled up to Japan to follow Nikolai and Kato, but our boy Yuri isn't doing too well.
Well, how is he?
He's sleeping, but I don't think he's getting any better.
We've come all the way to Japan.
And yet there's nothing we can do.
What if he dies on us?
Why do you always have to say things like that?
Oh, come on. Show me somebody that's in danger of dying from seasickness.
Ah, yes, the running gag of Yuri's extreme seasickness. It's pretty funny that they set up Disc 2 this way. You're like, oh no, months have passed, Yuri is dying? It must be the mistletoe. Nah, bro's just seasick. They had to take a boat because Anastasia crash-landed the Bacon jet to look at bears? Alright, did the writers just throw a dart at a list of ideas for that one?
Well, Roger is probably still fixing it, surrounded by those bears.
Deep in the woods of Hokkaido.
Yeah, he may already be dead.
We seem to have all gotten kind of down.
You're right.
Anyway, we don't have any reason to think that he's dead.
Besides, there's nothing we can do. Let's just take it easy until Yuri is back on his feet.
Blanca isn't too keen on sitting around and waiting for Yuri to feel better, so he heads out for a walk. Woohoo! Another Blanca segment. While roaming the streets of Japan, he sees a young man getting jumped by a bunch of army guys with guns. So of course he helps out. And these guys with guns are not fucking around. Seriously, these guys suck. The enemies in this segment are easily the most difficult and kind of annoying because their turns always take forever. With the aid of Blanca, the young man gets away from the gun guys. Turns out his name is Kurando. He's protecting an older gentleman and a young girl he refers to as Princess. They are all thankful for Blanca's help.
What's your name, boy? Okay, you're white. So I'll call you Snowball.
I think he likes it.
Yeah.
Apparently, there are assassins after them. What's that? Could it be, perchance, a new party member this late in the game? It's more likely than you think. The girl drops and leaves behind a comb before they part ways. When they bump into each other next, in a scene stuffed full of overly dramatic action dodges, the girl is kidnapped, plucked right off the damn streets.
Look out!
But have no fear, the brave Blanca, is on the case. When everybody meets up, Anastasia is immediately smitten with Kurando.
Huh?
Oh,
Snowball!
Blanca!
It's the princesses.
You found their secret hideout, boy?
A bunch of stuff happens in an honestly kind of boring segment. There's going to be a few scenes and plot points that I'm just gonna straight up skip over here on Disc 2 because they revolve around a random, unimportant military guy and he's not very interesting, he's just around to be a boss. Anyway, the little girl is found on a boat.
Who are you?
Call me Yuri. And this guy's name isn't Snowball. It's Blanca.
Blanca?
Yeah.
So, it's Blanca, is it? Thanks, Blanca. I'm Yoshiko. Yoshiko Kawashima.
Excuse me, what did she just say? Yoshiko Kawashima? Wait a minute, that was the name of this girl. You know, Kato's girlfriend that he's really depressed about? You see, her father is Naniwa Kawashima, who by the way is a real person in history. Anyway, this plot point is kind of important and gets a little bit convoluted, but that's fine, we'll get back to it later. Kato reports back to his superior, Minister Ishimura. Ishimura was mentioned in the previous game, but we never actually saw him. He is directly responsible for the execution of Yoshiko Kawashima and oversaw the Japanese occupation of Shanghai. Ishimura is a direct political rival to Naniwa Kawashima and orchestrated the kidnapping of the little girl just to fuck with him. Since that didn't work, he tells Kato that he'll need to use his, quote, mutant apes as a plan B. We've kind of seen these guys before in passing. They were there when Kato took Nikolai, for example. However, Ishimura makes mention of a third mutant ape, one that took more time and money to create. He and his weird little goblinoid that floats around on a pillow named Garan warn him not to get too involved with his work with the apes, specifically the more expensive one. Ishimura tells Garan that he wants Naniwa taken out, and Garan's voice makes my throat hurt.
With my magic, I will send his soul spiraling into hell.
I'm counting on it.
Kato heads to a lab and tells the fancy new, more expensive mutant ape to wake up. Her name is Oka.
Your job is to escape from there.
This brings us to a really cool segment of the game where we get a nice change of pace. You play as Oka and have to do some target training practice. The goal is to shoot all of the targets while avoiding the ones that look like Kato. If you hit him, he gets kind of pissed off. Upon completion of the training course, Kato is like, "Hooray, you did it!" Meanwhile, the squad has been locked up for 3 days for meddling on the Japanese army ship to save the little girl. Kurando immediately abandoned ship, literally, when they were taken in. And Yuri's kinda like, man, fuck that guy for leaving us.
Kurando is not that kind of person.
Huh? What's that? What'd you say? Oh, I get it.
Why are you looking at me like that?
You're turning all red.
I'll kill you.
Kurando ditched them because he knew he'd be of more help outside than if he were to get caught. Apparently Anastasia had some documentation on her stating that she is a goodwill diplomat from Russia. Kurando got Naniwa to use this to get them all released.
Goodwill ambassador?
You had papers saying that?
My father gave me them in case I ever traveled overseas.
Now that's an emperor.
Yeah, a real Superman.
He's better than Superman.
This game is set in 1915. Superman wasn't created until 1938, so... Anyway, one of the names on Anastasia's document doesn't quite line up.
Shall we go? Yuri, Anne, and you are...
Anne?
That's your new name, Karen. I didn't want them to know that you're German.
Anne?
That was my mom's name.
Anne? That's not your name?
No. It's Karen.
Well, either way, come on.
Naniwa is like, hey, I got a grave I gotta go visit, and the gang tags along to keep him safe because clearly someone is after him. And, as usual, there needs to be a boss fight. We can't even go to a cemetery without there being a boss fight.
Princess, stay back!
Huh?
Whoa, this guy confused too?
Surprise! The boss is Kurando, and he has one of my favorite fusion forms of all time. Yeah, he confused too. That will be explained momentarily. In the meantime, could you please look at Joachim's weapon? It's very good and I want you to see it. He finds that giant frozen fish on the floor and here's its description. A tuna that suffered an incurable disease and swam into a suspended animation device to await the day it could be cured. This is easily my favorite thing that Joachim hits people with. It was Garan that attacked them in the cemetery by sending them to a weird demonic zone thingy. You remember Garan, the little goblinoid that floats on a pillow and whose voice makes my throat hurt? Yeah, that little fella. Time to confront him head on.
What's the matter? Are you so afraid that you cannot speak?
Gross!
You'll pay for that.
This won't be the last time we fight him, and he's surprisingly difficult for such a little fella. I really enjoy how everyone is just grossed out by him and the banter with Garan only gets better as we go. Defeating him makes the cemetery go back to normal, and we see the grave that Naniwa wanted to visit so badly. It's the grave of Yoshiko Kawashima, Kato's girlfriend that was executed. Naniwa explains that Yoshiko Kawashima was his real daughter, and this little girl Yoshiko Kawashima is adopted. I don't really understand why he named his adopted daughter the same exact name. He adopted her way before the original daughter actually died, so I don't know, maybe one of you can explain that to me because I haven't figured it out yet. Yuri finally realizes that he recognizes the name. Kind of weird that it took him that long, but whatever.
Yeah, I knew her. She was very smart, and she was very brave. I think that sometimes she might have pushed herself a little too hard. But she was a good person.
Meanwhile, our boy Nikolai is having a bad time. A researcher from the Japanese army named Dr. Hojo is attempting to extract Astaroth from his soul while he is weakened. The army wants the power of the demon for themselves. Dr. Hojo makes it clear that he severely underestimates the power of Astaroth, and Kato is like, alright, if you really want to think he can't destroy the whole world, I guess that's on you. They have Nikolai strapped to a science device, and they crank up the power to attempt to transfer the demon into a dog, who will presumably be more easy to control than a human.
Ah, good. It's working.
What the f? They just murdered a dog.
Raiden!
Oh yay, he's fine. Now empowered and pissed off that it was nearly murdered, the monster dog attacks. The mutant apes rush in to assist.
It's gone!
No, it can teleport.
That is deeply horrifying. If a monster attacks me and it goes away and I'm like, oh, yay, it went away, and someone goes, no, it can teleport, I'm shitting myself. Kato orders the apes to go after the monster, but makes sure to tell them not to harm it as it is a valuable experiment. To break up all the action, we have a quick little flashback with Naniwa and Yuri's father to let us know that they knew each other quite well. Naniwa was a teacher to him. I was actually gonna skip this since it's not really that important, but then I noticed something. This scene points out that Naniwa knows Yuri's mother, Anne. Please keep this in mind, I will be bringing it up later. Yuri is a little weirded out at just how connected he and Naniwa are turning out to be. So Karen takes him out on the town to get his mind off of things for a bit. This leaves us to playing Joachim. He and Anastasia get up to some mischief. If you talk to the vendors while playing him, you can tell them that Joachim isn't allowed to have a wallet, and that is funny to me. Together, Joachim and Anastasia stumble across a bit of a spicy conversation. This scene is very long, but also very important, so I'm going to edit it down for you guys. Karen and Yuri are sitting together and getting to know each other a little bit more. They get to talking about Yuri's past.
Your father died while fighting this wizard who was planning to destroy all of Japan, is that right?
God, I hope they put that cause of death on his headstone. That would be so funny. Yuri explains that his mother also died to the wizard who sent monsters to his house to kill her. Then it's Karen's turn to open up. She tells Yuri that the reason she was in the army was to reflect well on her family.
I didn't do it for my country. I did it for my sick, bedridden grandmother that I left at home. But you see, I don't have a home anymore. It's been destroyed by those Sapientes Gladio bastards.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't want that. I'm fine. It doesn't help to blame fate. It just makes you sad and bitter. Live every moment to the fullest and the future starts to look brighter.
You're a strong woman, Karen.
This is getting kind of steamy, don't you think?
Quiet. They'll hear you.
What are they doing? Just grab her and plant one on her already. Push her head down like this. Jeez, don't be such a wuss. Go and make your move. You can do it. Go. Kiss her. Kiss her. Grab.
Help.
Huh?
Then Karen asks about Yuri's mother. The series hasn't really talked too much about her before.
She met my father when she was in Japan. And it was love at first sight for her.
Was she pretty?
I can't remember her face that clearly.
Since his father was hardly ever around due to work, he says that he got to spend most of his time with his mother. He says that she was a strong but lonely woman. Despite her loneliness from his father always being gone, she always told him that she'd be happy so long as she had him. Yuri resented his father's absence because of the effect it had on her.
It was my mother who named me Yuri.
How did she pick that name?
I guess that was the name of her first lover.
I can't hear what they're saying.
He just said that he loved her.
He really said that?
Quiet. You're too loud.
Oh, sorry.
Yuri, may I ask you just one more thing?
Yeah, I guess so. You might as well.
Were you in love with Alice?
Oh, my stomach. My stomach's killing me. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Hey, come on, I'm serious, you know?
Ouch.
Yuri, wait!
Cut it out. I swear, I gotta go.
Very convenient timing for an explosion. So, like I said, that scene is surprisingly extremely important to the game's main ending. If you know, you know. The explosion was caused by the dog monster thing. It is attacking the city. Kato and the apes follow it and bump into Yuri.
I'm Oka, of the mutant apes.
She see no evil. I'm here. Speak no evil.
I'm right, hear no evil.
Yuri still has a big fat bone to pick with Kato, but they agree that saving the city is currently more important. Also, Anastasia is a savage little goblin.
Darn. They're strong. Ow!
Once the monster is taken care of, Yuri demands to know where Nikolai is. Kato refuses to say at first, but gives in once Yuri points out that whoever is pulling the strings in all of this, aka the government, is clearly in the wrong. Seems like Kato agrees because he spills the beans.
Someone in this capital is pulling the strings, and I plan to find out who.
No matter what?
That lousy coward. He's hidden away while millions of lives are ruined. I won't let him get away with that.
The Army's Hojo Research Facility. That's where you'll find Nikolai.
He's still alive?
Of course. But the minute you step foot in there, they'll use all their power to stop you.
Sounds good.
Back at Naniwa's place, the gang discusses the current state of affairs. Yuri is a little bit perplexed by Kato's motivations. He sees him as a good guy based on his interactions that he had with him in Shanghai, so he can't really piece together why he'd be taking demands from a cowardly little villain like Ishimura. He also can't figure out why he'd take the Emigre manuscript, a document that has exclusively resulted in catastrophic disaster. Everyone also kind of feels like Oka, one of the mutant apes, looks a little familiar. Kinda like Yoshiko Kawashima. Yuri's like, well, this is a Japanese game and we didn't actually see her die with our own physical eyeballs, so who knows, maybe she's still alive. To which Karen says,
couldn't we find out by paying a visit to the laboratory?
What? Yeah. There's an idea. We'll just go right out and ask her, are you Yoshiko Kawashima? It's easy. Why didn't I just think of that?
Are you sure?
Of course.
So they do just that. Then they realize the lab is surrounded by guards. Kurando is like, hey, what if we just steal their armor and walk right on in? And they do just that. As the squad breaks into the lab, Kato is with Oka discussing the past. Oka and the other mutant apes are clones created by the government. She is indeed a clone of Yoshiko Kawashima. Kato tells her a bit about the person she was created from and how she was killed. Kawashima always longed to live as Yuri does. That is, in a way that is fiercely and unrelentingly true to his own beliefs. Yuri always does what he thinks is right, and will even face God himself for those beliefs. Kato is beginning to doubt his commitment to his own morals working under someone like Ishimura. He implies that Kawashima wouldn't really necessarily be proud of his choices here. Under Ishimura, he's had to learn to lie, cheat, and kill.
But the one thing I haven't learned is how to forget my pain, my sadness.
The Yoshiko Kawashima that died in Shanghai was the Master's true love.
I'm being too emotional.
My Master feels pain because of all his memories. I feel jealous of her. My face, my voice, everything. I'm just a poor copy of her.
Don't say that. You are my creation, pure, untainted. You are no mere copy.
It's fine. I don't mind being a substitute for her.
Oka.
My only wish is to be of use to my Master. To be near my Master. To spend time with my Master. That is all I wish for.
Holy shit, that is literally the complete opposite plot to Overblood. like in every possible way. The gang catches the evil government science lab doing some evil government science lab stuff. They are once again attempting to remove Astaroth from Nikolai's body, because that went so well before. The head scientist, Dr. Hojo, makes it very clear that he doesn't care if Nikolai lives or dies in the process, and it becomes apparent that he's killed several experiments before. Kato is irritated by this and tries to get him to stop when Hojo pushes it too far. Alas.
Yes.
Oh, look, his face has changed.
Nikolai.
Nikolai's ego. It's been swallowed up.
You foolish, pathetic mortals. I can't thank you enough for finally ridding me of that annoying human. He was so intensely bored.
It can't be.
He's been taken over by Astaroth.
Taken over by Astaroth indeed. You see, Nikolai was the only thing holding the demon back, so he's free to do stuff like this now. Astaroth is also not the best conversationalist. For example,
how you doing, Bright Eyes?
You are a stubborn fool.
Yeah, that's not an appropriate response to someone asking how you're doing, but maybe it should be. Astaroth also has a really cool Jean impression. Peace. Here we have a little scene with Ishimura and Garan to kind of sum things up that happened at the lab. Dr. Hojo died and Kato has gone missing to chase after Astaroth. It becomes very apparent that Ishimura has some health problems here. He also discusses the fact that since Yuri's father had worked for the army that they knew each other fairly well. Despite this, he orders his little pillow goblin to destroy Yuri once and for all. The pillow goblin also has a Jean impression. Peace. Naniwa encourages Kurando to permanently join our little RPG party. He tells the group to head to Katsuragi where they'll meet someone that can help them tremendously. Yuri is feeling a little bit stressed here and gets a tad crabby.
Where could he have gone, that bastard?
You've got to take it easy. Worrying won't help us find Nikolai.
You think I don't know that? Don't talk to me like my mother.
But wait a minute, with Roger and the airship missing, traveling is hard. How are we supposed to get around? Oh, wait, could it be?
Ah!
Roger!
You finally found me, huh?
You're still alive!
How did you ever get off that mountain?
Yeah!
I wasn't about to die until I could give you all a piece of my mind!
Hey, come on. We didn't have a choice. You were the only one that could fix that ship. Plus, I figured the bear would decide you were too nasty to eat.
You expect me to believe that? You ran away screaming like babies! I never saw anyone run that fast! Wah! Just like that!
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right!
Okay! Time to let bygones be bygones.
She's right. Let's just forget it.
Don't... What kind of people are you? This is not funny!
On the way to Katsuragi to meet this person who can help, Goran makes his final attempt to stop Yuri and company once and for all. He warps the environment into a hellscape like he did at the cemetery and attacks.
I have been waiting for you. This is the entrance to hell.
Uh-oh. It's Babyhead.
You wiggling worms. Have you enjoyed my little tour of hell?
Actually, you're a lousy guide.
Have you not learned that I am not a foe to be trifled with?
I just think that's the coolest. Floating around like that.
I wonder how he does that.
Laugh while you can, my little ones. Soon you'll be shedding tears of pain.
It must be the pillow he's sitting on. I'm sure of it.
You think so?
This is the last chance to plead for your lives. Anything you wish to say before you meet your deaths? Well?
That pillow. Where can I get one?
I will strip the flesh from your bones!
The fact that they just fucking dog on this guy and refuse to take him seriously is really funny because he's definitely one of the harder bosses in the game, and he's absolutely worse this time around. Unfortunately, our time with funny Goblin Pillow Man, or Babyhead as Yuri likes to call him, comes to an end, like all good things must.
Anyway, he never did tell us where he bought that pillow, did he?
You really wanted to know?
Turns out our destination is actually Kurando's hometown, and this mysterious person that can help us out is none other than his mother. Cheerful old Nana tells him it's a good thing he's returned because Saki, his mother, has had a terrible premonition. This obviously concerns Kurando and makes Anastasia flip the freak switch.
Kurando, what is it? Is something bothering you?
Huh?
If you're not feeling well, let me help. I'd do anything for you.
No, there's nothing wrong with me.
Are you sure? Ask anything. I could be like your wife. I'll sew socks.
Okay, let's go already.
Underwear. I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I just said that. I really, but it makes me so happy. Huh?
This is super unimportant, but I just wanted to point out that this lottery member is really easy to miss because it's a freaking ladybug on this tree. Look at it, it's so tiny. Why would they do such a thing? You also come across another weapon called the clay idol for Joachim. This one is apparently an ancient artifact of the village. Kurando tries to stop him from taking it to hit people with, but realizes there's no point. I bring up this weapon in particular because for whatever reason, out of all the weapons he can equip throughout this game, this is the one they chose to have him wield in his appearance in Chaos Wars. This is not particularly important or interesting. I just really wanted to talk about Chaos Wars.
I'm done with your nonsense. I'll take your Tengayo away.
Be careful. You'll probably get sick, just like when you eat rotten food off the ground.
It's okay, Uru. Just relax and let it go. I'll be done in a second.
don't really want your twisted love. I really don't.
Stop it, Nicole. I can't move. Is anyone there?
Saki is waiting for everyone with some ominous news at the Fountain of Sukune. The waters of this fountain have a mystical capability. They warn her of a great disturbance, a powerful force that seeks to shake the very stars from their foundations. A threat greater than anything the world has ever seen before, and we literally killed God, so that's kind of concerning. She begins to use the waters to seek out Astaroth's location, and we get a really cool cutscene.
What's that mountain?
It's Mount Fuji.
Kato. Nikolai. No, it's Astaroth.
His evil is like an armor, hiding him from my sight. No, wait, he's found me.
Look out!
Impertinent fools.
Mother!
Prepare to die.
He's taken over her body.
Hey, you guys. It's not just me, right? Kurato's mom is kind of... It's a shame we have to kill her. Deep inside Mount Fuji, the mutant apes reflect upon their loyalty to Kato. They would do anything for him, and they genuinely have love for him. But...
Oka is different. Unlike us, she wasn't given any mechanical implants. She was the Master's girlfriend reborn. He wants to have a baby with her and live like a nice, happy couple.
You...
Listen, Ian, no matter what happens to us, I want to be sure that we protect those two.
Raiden...
Is there something strange about wanting to do that? Are you with me then?
Of course. I'm right there with you.
I mean, I don't know. Is wanting to have a baby with the clone of your dead girlfriend weird? And I guess not. Anyway, The apes are having trouble finding Astaroth deep within the core of the mountain, but that's when he splits the sea of lava like Moses split the Red Sea in Beyblade. You thought I was going to say the Bible.
It seems that Nikolai wishes for us to enter. We may not come back alive. You understand that, don't you?
Yes, Master.
I wasn't kidding about the Beyblade thing, by the way.
Since ancient times, the existence of bays can be found in moments throughout history. The power of Beyblades have been used to change the course of rivers and oceans.
Saki is fine, I was just kidding. She apologizes for hitting us with the most threatening face I've ever seen in my life and then drops a little lore on us.
Huh? Is there something on my face?
Yes, your nose and your eyes.
I love her, Your Honor.
Yes, she's always saying stuff like that.
Now don't get so angry. You look so much like your father, that's all I'm saying.
My father?
Yes.
Did you know him?
Yes.
You really knew him?
Yes.
But how?
I am his sister.
And so continues our trend of everyone either knowing Yuri or being related to him. This means that Kurando is Yuri's cousin. Also, apparently Astaroth is trying to make Mount Fuji erupt in combination with the power of ley lines to wipe out all of Japan, so that's ungood. Yuri heckles Ring Soul once again by calling him Ring Spirit and implying he's not taking his job seriously. This causes him to completely lose it. I always take it seriously. The Ring Soul doesn't have much impact as a character, so I have to play it all majestic. It's a tough role. I've got a 30-year mortgage and the wife and kids to feed. I can't afford not to take my job seriously, okay? I'm trying my hardest to leave some kind of impression on the people I meet. Why are you being such a pain? Just taking me for a fool, Ring Spirit this, Ring Spirit that? I'm the Ring Soul, okay? Let me spell it out. R-I-N-G-S-O-U-L. You're such a... Ugh. Damn, poor little guy. The gang finally makes it inside of Mount Fuji and they find Kato, the apes, and Astaroth deep inside. Kato had his ass kicked and Astaroth goes on about how he's going to destroy the world.
The age of mankind is coming to an end. Joy, sadness, desire, all of it is finished now. I will usher in a glorious new future.
Before you do, can I ask a favor?
What do you wish, human?
I wish you'd shove it. You know where.
Look, I don't think Ring Soul should feel so bad. Yuri heckles everyone. Astaroth without Nikolai hits like a goddamn semi-truck, in case you were wondering. However, he is defeatable, and defeating him wakes up Nikolai, and he is not very happy.
Don't think you can escape the curse of the mistletoe. Thanks to you, all my plans have been ruined. I thought you forgot that. No. And now, you'll die for it. You'll die instead.
You son of a...
Karen!
Master,
Oka.
Are you hurt?
I'm fine.
I'm so glad.
Oka.
Yikes, that is the second most tragic death Kato has dealt with recently. That's not good. Would it be weird if I said I feel a little bad for Nikolai? Him calling out for Karen like that was just kinda sad. Meanwhile, Yuri is in the graveyard since Nikolai was fucking with the mistletoe. He hears something strange this time.
Yuri.
Alice?
That's right, Alice's voice is calling for Yuri. The problem is that it's coming from behind one of the heavy sealed doors. Yuri tries for a while to pry the door open before getting kinda depressingly desperate.
Why? Bite me! Bite me.
He's awake!
Bite me?
What's that?
He said it.
I was going to be like, haha, take a shot every time Yuri says bite me in the beginning of the video, but don't do that. You'll die. Yuri was hit so hard by that mistletoe abuse that he was out for 3 whole days before waking up. Karen says that Kato wanted Yuri to meet him at the cemetery if he were to survive, which is weird because normally you go to the cemetery when you don't survive, but that's fine. Saki warns that with Astaroth defeated, the threat to the world has now changed. A profound sorrow threatens to darken the sky, a feeling of empty destruction, a heart full of anguish that no one can heal, a shadow heart, if you will. Yuri knows that this threat must be Kato, as he's felt those same feelings after a loss. Here's where we start seeing a big split between Kato and Yuri's narratives. They begin to represent the opposites of each other in how they deal with depression and grief. You guys, I don't think Kato's doing too hot.
Love lasts for such a short time, but misery goes on and on. Now my path is an empty one. I have no love left, no dreams.
He tells Yuri where he'll be able to find Ishimura to confront him once and for all, and then he does something kind of unexpected. He gives Yuri the emigre manuscript and tells him that he actually used it successfully to create Oka. This is a really big deal because it means that it can actually work.
Hey, wait.
Don't you want to see Alice again? If you follow the instructions in that book, then you can be with her again.
Wait a minute. I don't know how to use magic.
Roger should be able to help you. He can bring her back to life, exactly the way I did.
Yeah, but isn't that...
Yuri, from now on, I'm your enemy.
Huh?
This is the last time we'll ever speak as friends.
What do you mean?
The world as you know it will end. By my hand. If you really think that you can stop me, my old friend, bring everything you have.
Come on, enough with the joking.
This is no joke. If you want to know what my plans are, look inside that book. There isn't much time left.
Kato!
Farewell, my friend.
Before we can get wrapped up with the emigre manuscript, it's time to confront Ishimura. Yuri's beef with him can be summed up with this.
All wars end eventually. Suffering is merely temporary.
What about all the people that die?
An unfortunate necessity. Bastard.
In real life, this was a period of time where Japan wanted to be treated as a great world power. In World War I, they gained a lot of control in China and had powerful alliances. War obviously comes with cruelties, and Japan was certainly not exempt from this. You know, not as bad as World War II, but still. Yuri has seen the effects of war firsthand over and over again. Ishimura being so dismissive of the suffering makes Yuri so angry that he shoves the shit out of a child.
Out of the way! Kosuke!
You see, Ishimura has a family that loves him just like anyone else. His grandson jumps in front of him to protect him from Yuri. Here's where we see the irony of the way that Ishimura trivializes the casualties of the war. Keep in mind, this guy's responsible for some pretty heinous things, including the execution of Kawashima, and he just said he doesn't care about the people torn apart by his actions.
Don't kill him. I'm begging you. Please, please. Don't you dare beg for his life! What about the people you sent to kill in your name? What about the children whose lives have been snuffed out by your soldiers? How many parents have begged just like you for their children's lives? They cried and begged and pleaded for their lives. And they were killed anyway. They tried to protect their homes, and they were killed anyway. How many people will you sacrifice for your stupid, petty ambitions? Protecting them from the West, huh? Well, protect this! Doing it for your country, huh? Well, here's what I think of that! I say you did it for yourself! Stupid, arrogant idiot! You should rot in hell! Rot in hell! Rot in hell!
Yuri wasn't able to bring himself to kill Ishimura despite all of the people that he's hurt. He sure folded his clothes while he was still in them though, didn't he? Yikes. He discusses his feelings about this situation with Roger, and Roger cements himself as the best character of the entire series once again. We love and support Bacon Boy in this house.
The thing is, even he was just doing what he thought was right. He was fighting for his country. His grandson. But what have I been fighting for? When that kid was staring at me like that, I realized I had no idea.
You're fighting for Alice, are you not? I think that you are.
Huh?
For the world she loved so much. The future, and also you. No matter how much you want to, you know you can't change the past.
I know that. But I can't stop.
It's difficult to live a life without having any regrets. Yeah, I've been alive for 700 years, and I've spent most of that time regretting. That's right, laugh. Laugh and just go on. That's the best thing to do. Then you can look back at even the saddest things and smile.
Then, presumably thinking about his own regrets in life, Roger loses his marbles and says something absolutely insane.
Yuri?
Yeah?
I'm going to bring Alice back to you.
What?
Huh?
He's like, yeah, I know everyone before has failed, but you and me can do it. If one of us goes crazy and turns into a monster, we'll just kill each other and stop the magic. It'll be fine. So, do you want to resurrect your dead girlfriend with me or what? Listen, I'm gonna be real with you guys. The story starts getting really depressing right around here, so Godspeed to you, viewer. Meanwhile, Karen is talking with Saki, and she picks the worst possible time in the narrative to have this conversation. You see, they're having a little chit-chat about Yuri.
You care for him, don't you?
Yes, I like him a lot.
I thought so.
A woman like me. Do you think he could ever love me?
Love you?
I mean, you'd know as his aunt.
Oh, come now. Don't be silly. Of course he could love you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But what is it exactly that's worrying you? What is it, my dear?
Nothing. It's just...
Yes?
I know that he doesn't feel the same way.
Are you sure?
He's still in love with Alice.
Alice?
His lover. She died protecting him. But I love him too, more than anything. I don't think he knows how I feel.
But you do plan to fight for him, don't you?
Yes.
This is the worst!
Imagine confessing your love for someone at the same exact time that they, elsewhere, are making plans to resurrect the love of their life. Ouch, oof, oh, it hurts. Karen is now the patron saint of unrequited love. It's okay, girl. They got plenty of Spotify playlists for that. Saki gives Karen a photo of Yuri, his father and mother. This is really, really, really surprisingly very important to the rapidly approaching ending, so keep it in mind.
I thought that you might like to see what he looked like as a child.
And it's time to try and get Alice back. To make things worse for poor Karen, she's promised that if Yuri goes all Elaine from Koudelka, she'll make sure that she puts an end to him. Karen is really going through it right now. This is, in my opinion, the most emotional scene in the game. You know, Covenant's version of the fireplace scene or the train scene. So buckle up. Inside, Roger and Yuri begin the resurrection. Roger explains that no one has successfully been able to truly raise someone from the dead, not even Kato. Kato did succeed in creating Oka, a clone, but she wasn't truly Kawashima and held none of her memories. Oka was a completely separate individual.
So, what about Alice?
She's exactly the same Alice that you knew. Her memories and emotions are just as they were at the time she died. And when she wakes up, she'll feel just as though she had a nice, long sleep.
You can't be serious.
Yes, but the experiment isn't a success yet. This is just a vessel for her soul to enter. The magic happens from this point on. The real trick is going to be calling her soul back into this body. To this point, not a single wizard has been able to do it. This will be the true test. We may even give birth to a monster, or we might even become monsters ourselves. All right. Once we start, there's no going back.
Fine.
powers of the cherubim, take this soul beyond the gates of time. Crystal! Oh my! Oh yes! Her soul isn't returning.
I love you too.
That's amazing.
All of the themes of loss in the series have built up to that moment. It's a little bit cheesy, but I feel like they did an incredible job of capturing a feeling that I think most people who have experienced a loss have felt. That overpowering feeling of, what if I could just see them one more time? Or, what if I could just tell them I love them one more time? There's also a really good duality at play of Karen kind of representing the present and Alice representing the past. Yuri is incapable of accepting the love of the present because of the pain of the past. I'm not really one to cry at movies or games, but this scene got me the first time I played the game, and it got me again replaying it to record this footage. Something about the tone in Yuri's voice, the look on his face, the music, it's such an authentic representation of grief. Specifically that yearning to see someone that you can't see anymore.
It didn't work at all. I'm a failure. I beg the forgiveness of God for having committed this terrible sin. I swear never again will I transgress against the holy word of our Lord.
He seems a little too perky, no?
But our Lord is merciful, and he has given me the answer.
The answer? Do you mean to say that you know what Kato is planning?
Exactly.
Apparently, when the Emigre manuscript is used, it creates a momentary change in the flow of time. Kato is planning on using this time rift to destroy the world. Roger isn't exactly sure of the specifics of Kato's plan, but he could send the world back 1,000 or even 10,000 years to make sure that this timeline never comes into existence. This means that our heroes here could never meet each other, or even exist at all. Yuri visits the graveyard for one of the final times in the game.
I gotta admit, when I first saw you hanging there like that, you scared me pretty bad. But now, I feel like I've become a little bit closer to you. Almost like a brother. Maybe when you wake up, maybe that's when I can finally let go of my past and be free.
He finds Jean and she harasses him about not being able to find his happiness again. She says the reason she can't find it must be because he hasn't decided what happiness currently means to him. And then we find out some truly depressing lore. You ever wonder about Yuri's outfit change? Where did that brown coat go? Yuri says, to tell you the truth, I don't really want to be happy. To which Jean replies, that's because you've forgotten what happiness is. When Alice died, you decided your happiness died with her. When you were digging her grave alone, you cried until the tears wouldn't come anymore. You put Alice in that coffin wrapped in that special coat and gently covered it with dirt. Listen to me. The holy mistletoe curse is going to kill your soul. Nobody can stop it. You're going to lose yourself, Yuri. You don't have much time left. You've got to figure out what happiness is. It's the only way to defeat the curse. Peace.
Somebody, talk to me! Call my name or something! Hey, Karen! Hey, Oh, wait a second! Lucia! Old man! You stupid dog! Wait! I'm disappearing! No! I don't want this! Somebody make it stop!
Yuri feels his soul slipping away to the curse, and he desperately searches the graveyard for Alice's voice one more time.
This train. Alice.
Yuri, you're back. I guess that I fell asleep here waiting for you to arrive.
You did? Oh.
Did you have a hard time?
Oh. You know, same as always.
What?
Can I sit next to you?
Sure, go ahead.
Always, feel kinda sick, sitting backwards.
I'll never forget
What?
taking this journey with you and meeting you, being with you.
Alice.
Don't worry. Whatever the curse is, I don't mind.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
I wonder if God'll punish me.
Why?
Roger and I used the emigre manuscript to bring you back to life. But we couldn't do it. So you really meant what you said then? I love you too.
I know that.
If there really is a God, and if he'd grant me just one wish, I'd go back to the day we met.
Then we could take a trip together again.
That was some trip, all right.
Now we can see each other anytime.
Anytime?
I'm not going anywhere. Are You leaving?
Yeah. I've got one more thing that I have to do. Once I take care of that, everything will be out of the way, and I'll come back to you. Then I'll never leave again. I swear it.
Be careful.
See you soon.
Saki has been doing her thing and knows where Kato will be heading to begin the process of undoing the world. Everyone is ready to go and face the final challenge except Karen. Karen is missing. Yuri heads off to go and find her.
What is it? Everybody's waiting.
How do you feel?
I'm not getting any better. It's just like Nikolai said. There's no way to break this curse.
Don't come any closer. Stay there.
Oh. All right.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, I decided, even if I can't break this stupid curse, it'll be all right. When it happens, and my soul fades away, I know that my memories, they'll live on inside all of you.
Do you mean it?
Yeah. There's nothing I can do anyway. But you know what? Before I lose my soul, while I'm still who I am, I'm gonna settle things with him. Other than that, there's not a thing that I can do about it.
Yuri,
Yeah?
I've loved you ever since I met you. I still do. I always will. I know I can't match up to Alice. You're such a dummy. I know you never noticed.
Karen,
No, it's fine. You don't have to say anything. I always knew in my heart that you felt the same way about me, too. That's why I risked my life, because I loved you. And now that you know that, it's enough for me.
This unrequited love stuff is getting a little depressing. I'm sure all of us can relate. Let's be serious for a moment, you and me. We're 3 hours into a JRPG video. We've been in that boat before. And you guys, we're about at the end of the story here. However, the game gives you a chance at this point to go back and finish up any loose threads, as well as do some optional character stuff. We're gonna rapid fire the most funny / interesting parts of the optional endgame quests before wrapping it up. First and foremost, what happens to our boy Ring Soul? Last we heard, he was a little bit stressed about his wife and he kinda yelled at Yuri. Later on, he apologizes for blowing up and Yuri tries to befriend him by asking a little bit about his family. He explains that his wife's name is Miyabi and his one daughter's name is Aya. Throughout the rest of Ring Soul's encounters, they become closer and closer. Ring Soul shows his true personality and honestly, he's kind of a weirdo. He starts doing freaky little impressions of his wife and his speech turns into, "My name's Ring Soul. I'm the will of the judgment ring-a-ling, the administrator of diddly widdly fate. You can't hide from little Measy. I can see your future." Eventually, he confides in Yuri that he thinks that maybe his wife is having an affair. She's staying out late, won't tell him where she's going, and talks to him less than ever. She's also apparently 17 years younger than him. At least she's 28 years old. Damn, Ring Soul. Anyway, he gets so distressed by the potential affair that he starts breaking the fourth wall. He starts saying he's thinking about quitting, and Yuri is like, "What? No, who could possibly take your place?" To which he replies, "Why does it matter? It's not like you can't finish the game without me." Of course he's right, but damn, dude. He then implies that he's beginning to have performance issues because of his age, and that must be the cause of the affair. Why is this game the way that it is? Fast forward to the end of the side quest here, and it turns out that there was never really any affair at all. Miyabi was taking all this time to make him a very special present, a cashmere sweater. That's it. That's the end of this storyline. Next up, Joachim. Remember at the beginning when he said that Yuri had to let him join the party or he'd never know his true identity? Remember how Yuri kept saying he seemed familiar? At some point, you can go back to the shop with the kids and they'll tell you that they found a peach bat. I totally didn't remember to mention this in the previous video, but one of the side quests in that game has you go back to Keith's castle where you can fight his brother, a golden bat. Joachim is obviously that golden bat and Keith's brother. Peach Bat here is their sister, and she is in the next game. She's also a filthy cheater that lies about how many turns she's gonna give you when you fight her.
Teacher! We have come here to ask you a favor.
Oh yes, favor asker. I'm open for questions 24/7. If you got the problem, speed it out.
Then there's the Man Festival. Joachim challenges the Great Gamma for his girthiest power-up yet. To achieve this, he must fight his way to the top of the Tower of the Holy Ring. The Holy Wrestling Ring, that is. His opponents are a bunch of food people. Like, their names are Curry or Sushi, and they wear food on their heads. Once you get to the end of the Man Festival, there's a little bit of... well, you'll see.
You passed the physical. Now it's time for the mental test. Huh? The Man Festival must end with the final expression of love between two men.
Isn't it beautiful? Love comes in so many different shapes.
I'm not into that shit.
Yeah, it gets a little 2000s-y humor. I'm sorry. Also, Joachim's voice actor is Xemnas. The final boss of Blanca's wolf bout is just the guy that started the wolf bout in the first place, dressed in a fursuit. Geppetto goes on a genuinely creepy adventure through a haunted dollhouse, and we learn that the spirit of his dead daughter has been inhabiting his Cornelia puppet this entire time. Kurando gets a powerful sword and a second fusion form called Jutendoji. Jutendoji is an ogre that has a large stone weapon, and it results in an interesting conversation with Saki. He was swinging that big hard thing around so roughly, I was just amazed to see what a man he'd become. Saki, please. Phrasing, woman. Karen's quest gets her a cool sword from her grandmother's ghost, but on the way she encounters several other spooky specters. One introduces himself as Darcy, and he says he died in an earthquake. The suddenness of his death, however, was not the cause of him being a ghost.
No, not that. It's just right at the time of the earthquake, I was right in the middle of doing my duty. If you know what I mean. Anyway, I died before I had the chance to wipe. You can't imagine the itch or the smell. Please, you've got to give me some paper. You know, something really soft and white and fluffy. Oh, paper. How I've dreamed about you. Thank you. I'll never forget your help. Excuse me while I use it right away. Ah, sweet blessed relief.
This game is a little weird, huh? There's some other side stuff like powering up Yuri's fusion forms to max, Lucia finds a flower, Anastasia verbally abuses a monster, and there's even a little Keith Bat cameo. But with all of the optional stuff tied up and out of the way, it's time to face the end.
So, you've come.
That's right.
Did you meet Alice?
Yeah. Thank you. Do you still plan to destroy the world?
Yes. I plan to remake this world by bringing us 100 years into the past.
100 years?
Yes, 100 years. When the people that have warped this world had not yet been born. Then, I will be able to guide this world to a whole new future.
You think big.
So you're satisfied with the miserable state of the world. You're happy just to let things continue the way they've been.
No, I'm not. The future I want is the one that I create for myself, even if it costs me my own soul.
So you fight because of your beliefs?
No. Because of my destiny.
Soul of the ancient gods, soul of the land of Nippon, return beyond the gate of time! Yoriwara, vessel of Yamato. I'll be there at its peak. 108 tolls of the bell. Space will be torn, and time warped.
I got it.
The final area is actually really similar to the previous game. Big cosmic horror vibes. There's a lot of fighting and a bit of puzzling to be had here. Jean appears for the final time. She asks Yuri a very important question. This question determines the ending of the game. Yuri can tell her that his happiness is either living life his own way or living peacefully. The living life his own way option is widely regarded as the quote-unquote good ending, and it is the canon ending, so we'll take a look at that one first. Kato's boss form is kind of horrifying, and honestly this boss kind of sucks, it's pretty hard. Here Yuri and his friends stand at the end of time. Defeated, as Kato lays dying, he tells Yuri that no one who has come this far will ever be able to return to the present. He's actually succeeded in destroying time as we know it. However, there is still a chance at happiness. Kato tells Yuri to pray as hard as he can for the world that he wants. He tells him to think of a time when he was the happiest. Kato fades away and time begins to come undone.
Looks like time's up. It's the mistletoe's curse. I knew I was living on borrowed time.
Are you scared?
No.
Will you lose your memories too?
Never.
Yuri.
Don't look at me like that. I'll see you soon.
Please, promise me. I don't want to lose you forever.
Yeah. Karen.
What?
Thank you. Sorry. I can't keep that promise.
I know why you stayed there alone. You were afraid to lose yourself. You realized the only way to protect your soul and your memories was to die. The times you spent with your friends, your feelings for the friend you fought, all of your experiences to this point. All that is what made you what you are, made you into the man you are today. Yes, the man I know, the man I love. Now you don't have to suffer anymore. You don't have to be alone anymore. I'll always be right here by your side. Now we'll be together forever.
And there you have it, the end of the game. The only way to stop the mistletoe from consuming Yuri's soul was to die before it had the chance. And if this is the good ending, you can only imagine what the bad ending is like. But maybe, just maybe we're not done here. Could there perhaps be a little post-credits treat? Oh boy, is there. And there's 2 parts to it. Let's take a look at the wholesome, good one, and we'll get to the controversial one in just a second.
Whoa, that's bad. I almost overslept. It'll be here soon.
It's the world you secretly prayed for. The place your heart returns to. The time when you were the happiest. You can start your life over again.
It's that train. I kind of feel like a kid again.
Covenant Yuri looks so much better than the first game. Oh my god. There is one more part to this ending, and it is a really big twist. And it is kind of strange. Among the fandom, it is a bit of a controversial direction for the story to go, and I'd like to say it came out of nowhere because it feels really random, but it really didn't. It has been extremely hinted at the entire game. Yes, you interpreted that correctly. Karen is Yuri's mother. She has been this whole time. I kind of feel like this is a weird decision, but they really did warn us.
Anne?
That was my mom's name. Don't talk to me like my mother. It was my mother who named me Yuri.
How did she pick that name?
I guess that was the name of her first lover. I can't remember her face that clearly.
This raises several questions, like how did no one, let's say Naniwa or Saki, recognize her? Yuri was definitely old enough when she dies to remember her face. There's just no way. In an interview with Machida, he says, regarding the ending where Karen becomes Yuri's mother, I was actually unsure myself till the end when I wrote the script. According to a few people, it would have been better to create a happy ending where Yuri accepts Karen and the two, now survivors, become a couple. However, I preferred to keep a pure love theme. If Yuri accepted Karen, he wouldn't have had a motivation strong enough to go back to the past and change it. So there you have it. It is a little bit of a strange twist, but it is intentional. The non-canon bad ending is slightly less weird. Let's take a look at that.
I'll see you all again someday. The adventure is over. I've lost a lot. In the end, was it really worth it? Will the new future be any better? Anyway, my story is over. I can feel it. The mistletoe is finally stealing away my soul. Even if I can go back to my friends, I won't really be me anymore. But then again, if it means I'll be able to live the rest of my life in peace, I guess I couldn't ask for any more.
I never thought I'd find you in a place like this. I've been looking all over for you.
Yuri, who are you?
You don't even remember your own father? Such a foolish son.
My father?
Well, let's go home now. It's cold out.
Yuri is still technically alive here in this ending, but he's not himself. He holds no memory of the people that he loves. I think it's pretty obvious based on his character which ending he would choose for himself. Picking the peace option is very un-Yuri-like, and that's the whole story. We've covered pretty much everything. There's little side conversations, and obviously I shortened down most of the cutscenes, so if you ever want to give this game a play for yourself and you haven't already, I would highly recommend it. It is definitely still worth it. This is one of my favorite games of all time, which is why it got such special treatment, being extremely thoroughly covered. I think that this might be a little bit much, but I wanted to show and discuss the entire narrative. I will definitely not be making videos this long in the future. This nearly killed me. I mean, I probably won't. We've looked at the entire game, and now it's time for some final thoughts. I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. I saw a review of it on XPlay and immediately loved it. I remember sitting in front of the TV with sheets upon sheets of printed out game facts to navigate all of the characters' side quests and to get them all of their alternate costumes. This is the first game I ever 100%ed, and I did so because I refused to stop playing it. I loved the designs in this game so much. Somewhere I have an old middle school notebook full of drawings I did of all of these characters. I was particularly attached to Tsukiyomi's design, and I drew her a lot for some reason. Miyako Kato's art is just beautiful to me, and the point is, this game was a major early influence on me becoming someone interested in creativity, and not just visually. The narrative really gripped me as well, which is why I just spent 3 hours talking about it. The combination of comedy and darker themes is something I don't think we see a lot in games, and even less often do we see it done well. When Machida was asked what the theme of the game was, he said happiness. Happiness to Yuri is living life on his own terms. Even when faced with loss, he always persists forward. Even when he doesn't know what's going to happen, and even when he feels like he can't go on. Alice died to protect his soul and his heart, a heart that she loved deeply. Even though she's gone, that kind of love forces Yuri to care about himself and what he does. I know some people aren't really the biggest fans of the ending, but I really like it. I think it wraps up Yuri's story quite nicely and in an interesting and touching way. All in all, this really is one of my favorite games. There is one more in the series as well, so we'll check that one out at some point too. And if you got this far into the video, you're nuts. This video is long. That is crazy. How did you get here? What are you doing here? I appreciate you so much. You're beautiful. But it is time to bring this one to an end. Thank you so much for coming with me on another adventure. Be sure to check out the links below. If you enjoy games and discussions like this, consider joining the Discord server. We talk about nerd shit all day over there.
Perimeter breach. Perimeter breach. Ah!